Hey everybody, welcome back to another Inner Sleuths live stream. I'm back in town. I was out of town for a couple days there, but got that all taken care of, and now we're ready to get back to our regularly scheduled content here. Hope you guys have all been well. Great to see you here once again on the channel for an episode of PaxCast. So we have a lot to talk about. Some people say that there's been no movement. I would be inclined to agree with that for the most part, but they are at least telling us something. So we're going to look over this upcoming combat changes post that they just put out a little bit ago. Just came out today. It says hot off the press. But before we get into this, huge shout out to all of my channel members. We have a bunch of new channel members, a bunch of new subscribers. We are flying past our subscriber goal. We are well on our way towards our 1,000 subscriber goal. We're at seven, almost 760 something now. The number in the top left drags behind a little bit. YouTube does some weird stuff with the numbers, and then my overlay drags a little bit behind, but thank you to all of my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for everything. We got a bunch of people in chat already. We got Maven, Chef, Hawk, Tevin, Burger Pops. Great to see you all. Hope everybody is doing great today. Hope you guys are ready to do some chatting about the combat changes and the update schedule in general. I have an interesting quote from one of the devs. I like to preface these updates with the fact that I'm not a blind follower of any developer or any game. I'm not a quote unquote fanboy. I'm not a doomsayer. I just tell the truth. Whatever I see, I will always give you guys my honest interpretations of things. And I like to keep that open dialogue with you because I think it's important to have the community, all of you guys here with me, being able to voice your opinions. It really it has to be somewhat useful to the developers to know what a community like ours thinks about the way that things are going. So do not be shy. If you guys are in chat, please let your questions fly, let your comments fly. I want to know everything that you guys have to say. It's my favorite thing to do. I used to say it's one of my favorite things to do, but I've come to the determination that it is my favorite thing to do, is to interact with you guys in chat. I love reading all of your messages. Sometimes I'll miss some things, but I will always get to super chats. I will do my best to get to every single channel member's message. If I miss anything, it's because chat at times will fly by real quick and I'll be reading something else over here on my other screen. So I apologize if I miss anything, but it's my favorite thing to do is to interact with you guys in chat. So please do not be shy. Even if this is your first time here, if it's your 100th time here, whatever it may be, I love to read your messages and interact. I like to hear your guys' thoughts. And at times, I may have questions for you guys. So pay attention and let's move forward. We're going to get into this upcoming combat changes post from them real soon here. First things first, if you guys are looking for a great community to join to play all kinds of games together, even not just PAX Day, but if you want to play PAX Day, World of Warcraft, we're going to be doing a Star Citizen series coming up here in the next week or so. That's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of new people getting into Star Citizen. We have dozens of existing people who play Star Citizen. This patch that just came out is pretty good. So make sure you guys are joining up on our Discord. Type !Discord in chat, and you'll get a link to join our community Discord server where everybody hangs out. We play all kinds of stuff together. We host servers for different games. If you guys would like to join us in-game and you want to join our clan in PAX Day, our guild in World of Warcraft, our organization on Star Citizen, any of our private servers, one application gets you access to everything. Just type !Website in chat and go over to our website, fill out your application. It's pretty easy. There's a template. You can copy paste it or just start a new discussion. It'll auto-populate with the questions, basic questionnaire to help keep out trolls and bad actors. But yeah, if you guys would like to join us, we'll be hosting servers in the future for games like Project Zomboid, potentially Minecraft, Vintage Story, whatever it may be. We have the capacity here to host all kinds of stuff. We are a community first and foremost, and we love to just have fun with cool people, play cool games, and enjoy life. Kevin, great to see you. Pete, how's it going? Thank you guys for tuning in. This is kind of a special episode because these update videos, these are pretty hot news, honestly. People love to talk about the upcoming stuff. They like to hear my thoughts on it, and they love to give their thoughts. So again, don't be shy in chat. Join our Discord, go to our website, submit an application. We're getting an update sometime in the autumn that the developers have told us. We don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully it's pretty substantial. I think that there's going to be a large influx of new players as well as returning players. So make sure you get your applications in early to join the Order of the Blood Brothers. We have a bunch of great people who are joining PAX Day for the first time within this past week. So it's great to meet you all. I'm glad that you guys are taking an interest in PAX Day. It's honestly a really great game. It needs a lot of work. It's rough around the edges in a lot of spots, but it is a great project. I love Star Citizen. I think that that is a great project. People will say good things and bad things about it. People will always say good things and bad things about everything. Here, our goal is to tell you guys the truth and analyze the information that is given to us. We're doing a giveaway for the entire month of September. We're going to be doing a giveaway next month as well. So stay tuned for that next giveaway. For this giveaway, you can win a copy of PAX Day. So if you're thinking about getting into PAX Day, if you want to give it to a friend because they're thinking about getting into PAX Day, but they don't want to spend the money yet, whatever it may be, all you have to do to enter is be subscribed to the channel, and you can get multiple entries, one entry per upload, but multiple entries throughout the month just by leaving a comment on any of my uploads. All you have to do is go back to all, if you want to have more entries, go back to all of my previous uploads and leave a comment on there and be subscribed. While you're down there, if you don't mind giving it a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. We're trying to help grow the channel so that way we can bring the news of PAX Day and our fun RP adventures that we've been having to a bigger audience. We have a subscriber goal of 1,000. Once we reach that 1,000 subscriber goal, we will be doing a 24-hour subathon where several hours will start off on the clock. And that clock can be extended further and further into the future, closer and closer to that juicy, elusive 24-hour mark. I don't know if I can make it 24 hours. I don't know if you guys can make it 24 hours, but we're going to do our best to see if we can, and it's going to be a lot of fun along the way. That clock can be extended by doing things like interacting with Tangia, which you can see is currently paused in the bottom left corner. Tangia is a fun way to support the channel as well. Lets you put funny memes on screen. They're really good when I do my horror games because throughout this entire month and next month, and probably the month after that, I'm going to be sprucing in some horror games like we've been doing. We did Killer Frequency. I'm going to be doing some others coming up as well. Multiplayer ones where we can get people in. So join the community, subscribe. And if you are so inclined, become a channel member, but that is not required in any way, shape, or form. But huge shout out to all my channel members. So that's the giveaway that we're doing. That's the subscriber goal that we are aiming for, which we are flying towards, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and unpause Tangia. Maven says we would love to adventure with you. Absolutely. We love adventuring with everybody. We have met so many great people. You know, it's funny. One of the things that people always ask me is, do you think PAX Day is worth it? Do you think you got your money's worth? I got my money's worth in the first week alone. Pretty much in the first day. I met so many cool people. So many awesome people have been joining our community. It's really, really been great to have the turnout that we have. And so I'm very thankful to our community. Thank you guys so much. And thanks for joining me here today to talk about this upcoming combat changes. I'm going to go ahead and unpause Tangia. To go over to Tangia to interact with the stream in funny ways with memes and stuff, all you have to do is type !Tangia in chat. You'll get a link over to our Tangia, and that does directly support the channel. Maven says several times over. Yeah, absolutely. So we got some nice artwork here. I think they shot all of this in one go because this person here, they're the one in a video down below who's actually, I skimmed over this a little bit so that way I know at least what I'm remotely talking about. But this is the same person from the video, I think. Let's hop into this, guys. I hope you are ready for some information here like I am. I don't know really fully what's in this, but we're going to find out together. We're going to see if it's a nothing burger or if it's got some actual transparency in it. Because PAX Day Mainframe has done this thing where they'll say they're being transparent, and I appreciate them trying to be transparent, but then they'll just tell us, hurry up and wait. That's what it's been feeling like, and we'll get more into that as we get into this here. Nova says, PAX Day lost me when the early access beta was offered, and then when I went to sign up to play it, they had a questionnaire asking me my socio-psychological questions. It told me a lot about them. Wait, what? When you went to sign up for the early access, it gave you a questionnaire? Can you somehow send that to me? I'm really intrigued by this because I had not heard that before from anyone. And we have a really large community. Nobody has told me that. And I do not remember seeing anything like that whatsoever. I would love if you could, I don't think you could send links here. If there's a mod, if they can get in touch and get that a link here, because I'd love to actually talk about that during the stream if we can. But if you want to send me that on Discord or something, some way, if you can get that to me or tell me where to find that, that is very intriguing. Maven says, was that for alpha or alpha 2? So they said they lost me when early access beta was offered. Then they went to sign up, presumably for the early access beta. Like, so what we're in right now, it gave you a questionnaire. Oh, it was months ago. Oh, okay. My misunderstood that. I thought you were talking about when you went to sign up for the early access beta, like what we're in right now. Hunter, how's it going? He says, what's up, Voidlock? Not much, man. We're just getting into some info here from Mainframe, from PAX Day. We're going to see what is in their latest post here. I misunderstood you, Nova. I thought you meant when you went to sign up for the early access, like when you went to buy the game, it asked you a questionnaire. Sorry for wrong terms. No problem at all. I got you. That's interesting because I was in the alpha too, and I don't remember a questionnaire when I signed up for the second alpha. Maybe that was for the first alpha, or maybe I just missed it for the second alpha, but I streamed the second alpha, the Wilderness alpha, and I don't remember anything like that, but that's a bit weird. You know, I like these developers. I do. I wish they could actually follow through with being transparent. I will always tell you guys the truth. I will always tell you it as it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to I don't try to protect Mainframe or anything like that. I just tell the truth as it is. So when I bash them, some people will say, oh, you're just a doomsayer. Or when I give them praise, people will call me a fanboy. It is what it is. People are always going to have their opinion of me, but it doesn't deter me from telling the truth regardless. Maven says, yeah, I recall the survey for the second alpha. I must have just missed it then, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention because I do not remember a survey at all. Hunter says, I'm ready for the new upcoming update, hopefully soon. I'm right there with you, Hunter, and that's where we are right now. We're talking about when we're going to be getting content. We don't really know. The last 2 updates ago, they're basically saying, we'll update you. This is an update to tell you that we're going to update you in the future. In 3 weeks, look for another update. And I'm like, well, what does that mean then? So you basically are telling us that we know the things you're working on, but what are those? I want to know what of those things that you're actively working on are planned or attempting to make it into this next update. That's what I really want to know. And it's fine if you don't meet those deadlines. Like, if not even a deadline, if you don't meet those expectations, that's okay. Star Citizen does that all the time. They have Q4. These are the things we're trying to get implemented. Like here, I'll pull it up for just 1 second. I don't want to leave it on this page too long, but right here, Star Citizen, tentative Q4 2024. These are tentative for Q4, patch 4.0. Look at all the things that you can see that are tentative that are coming. They put everything that they're actively working on, that they're trying to get in there on that. And I know this PaxCast is not about that whatsoever, but it's good to extrapolate information from other sources in order to help get my point across. And my point is that we have a roadmap for PAX Day that we don't know when any of that stuff's coming. They've told us things that they've been working on, but we don't know when any of those things are coming. Are all of those things attempting to be put into this next update? Are half of them? Are none of them? Are these like year from now things? We have no idea. And that's the biggest downfall for me right now. That's my biggest complaint, is just tell us. Even if, you don't make that deadline, be transparent with us. In a perfect world, the way I see it happening is they would say, hey, we're trying to get these combat updates pushed in for the autumn update. We're trying to get the religion system in, but we don't know if it will because there's a lot of intricacies to it. But this is what we have so far. This is the permissions update that is most definitely going to be coming in this next update. We've been working really hard on it. This is what we have done so far. These are the things that are yet to be done. We're trying to get those things tidied up. They were very transparent when the servers were having issues. So I know that they have the capacity to be transparent with us. I don't know if you guys remember, and during early access at the very beginning, they put out huge spreadsheets and explanations and diagrams of all the reasons why and how they narrowed down what the problems were with the servers. When we were placing stuff down, it was very laggy when you're trying to place stuff in the world, and it was a nightmare. But they were extremely transparent with that, and I loved that. And I was hoping that was going to continue into the future here. Hunter says, ready for the update. Maven says, no worries at all. If they were doing one for the open beta, then I know we would all want info because it would be fascinating to learn about. Oh, yeah. It was generally what hardware you have. Oh, yeah, I do remember a hardware survey. But he says a socio-psychological questionnaire. I don't remember anything like that at all. What sort of games do you like? Yeah, I do remember something like that with the hardware. Yes, because they were selling. That may be true, Hawk. That absolutely may be true. But let's hop into this here. Let's see what they have to tell us about We're already a half hour, almost a half hour in here, or 20 minutes in here. Let's hop into the actual meat and potatoes of this spotlight upcoming combat changes. We know some of the stuff with combat that they've already been working on because they've told us a little bit about it. So hopefully this gets down a little more granular on that. Hawk says that's why they were transparent, because they were selling. That very well may be true. I know a lot of companies do shady stuff. Like I just recently got this new editing software, Filmora Wondershare. I've really, really enjoyed it. They did something very sketchy. When you checked out, if you did not uncheck a box, it automatically took your credit card detail that you were just buying a license. I paid like a one-time fee for the license. If I didn't uncheck a box, it automatically took your credit card info and signed you up for a subscription for their resources program or something where you got like sounds and audios files and stuff like that. That was sketchy. I just saw a random bill come in and I'm like, what is this? So I had to go back, and then they were trying to give me a hard time saying, well, that doesn't really fall within the criteria for a refund. And I'm like, you automatically signed me up for this thing. So it's a little sketch. Companies do sketchy things, and we will definitely be calling that stuff out here on the channel 100%. Maven says, yeah, I don't recall anything of that deep of nature, because I would have declined to take it. Yeah, I would have absolutely as well. They do not need to be privy to any of that information. Nova goes on to say, I remember they were asking specific things about how I would act under certain situations. Unfortunately, I did not understand the social aspect in the game. I was applying for my own bias. That's really strange that they were asking you stuff like that. I do not recall anything like that at all. If anyone else remembers anything like that, please let me know. That's a bit strange. I do remember a hardware survey, though, I believe. But I think that was the extent of it. That's pretty strange. I mean, it's a very socially driven game, but I don't even know what that survey would have garnered them information-wise. Let me move my microphone up a little bit here so we can start to read through this. So they say, hello, Paxians. We know combat hasn't been the strongest aspect of PAX Day so far. I don't know if I'd even say that, to be honest. Like, doing dungeons, and I mean, the PvP, sure, that's like a little wonky, but like doing dungeons has been a lot of fun, honestly. We have a very large clan, so we normally have multiple dungeon groups running at multiple different times of the day. We have scheduled events for those things, and the dungeons have not been terrible. Is there room for improvement? 100%. I don't even think, I've talked to some people and they said they wouldn't even be upset if the entire combat was scrapped. I don't think it's irredeemable. I think it's in an okay spot where they could move forward with it. But some people have been saying stuff like that. So they say, we've been hard at work behind the scenes, almost starting from scratch to establish the foundations for a solid and dynamic system going forward. So it sounds like they may have gone all the way back to the roots to try and redefine how they want combat to be in the game, to have a dynamic combat system. I break things down as I go through them. I don't just read the whole article and then go back into talking points, because I'm reading this with you guys in real time. I don't like pre-schedule these. I decided this morning when I woke up and saw that this was coming out, I was going to do a horror game today, because we're doing a mini series throughout these next couple months for spooky season, my favorite time of year, that I'm doing horror games on and off. And I just saw that this came out, so I don't have a script for these. I read these with you guys, and I like to unpack things as I go through them. So they say, and words have a meaning to me, names have meaning to me. They say a dynamic combat system. That sounds pretty interesting, because right now I would not say the combat system is dynamic in any way, shape, or form. It's extremely linear. It's left click, left click, left click. Are you casting a heal? Are you casting a fireball? What is it you're doing? You're either far away and you're shooting arrows and fireballs, or you're close up and you're spamming left click. It's not dynamic at all. While this next content update will introduce some exciting additions, again, what does that mean? The next content update, they're talking about the autumn update. They have to be, right? They're talking about the autumn update, and they say it's going to have some exciting additions. We don't know what those additions even are. It's just the beginning. Significant improvements are on the way. More hurry up and wait. That's the way I read it. And I don't try to this is not my intention to just come across as salty. I'm not. I'm here for the long haul. We're having fun with PAX Day regardless, and our community's playing a lot of different things, and we're just having fun. But I have to call it as it is. While this next content update will introduce some exciting additions, again, we know the things that they're working on, but we don't know what those things are, and they never are clear about what things are trying to come in this update. Are they talking about some exciting combat additions? Are they talking about the things that we do know, which is the marketplace and the currency system and potentially the social rework? Because they did allude to that potentially being in this next update as well. And they say it is just the beginning. Significant improvements are on the way. Significant improvements, I'm assuming, to combat, because that's what they're referring to here. This is talking about this whole entire spotlight is about combat. Creating a game like PAX Day requires an iterative approach. It's interesting they say that, because an iterative approach means that you're going to be taking incremental steps towards refining the processes and the game systems in which we are interacting with. But they talked about going back to the foundation up above. I think they meant going back to the foundations, not like scrapping the whole combat system. I think they mean going back to the drawing board as to what they want going forward. I think that's what they meant up above. I could be wrong. Let me know your guys' comments on this stuff as we're reading this as well. But so they're saying it's an iterative approach, and this is particularly true for combat. So talking about the game as a whole is an iterative approach, and how it's particularly true for combat. And I would agree with that. World of Warcraft does this pretty okay. Some people have problems with their, tuning stuff that they bring out, because they'll say this is not balanced or that's not balanced. I mean, hell, it happens with Star Citizen as well. They'll overtune something, undertune something. So it definitely is iterative. And as new systems come online, they can have a profound effect on the existing systems that are already there. Nova says, I'm looking online. I can't find anything of it. And no worries. Vincent, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by the stream, man. We're just going over, for anyone who's just stopping in here, we're just going over the upcoming combat changes for PAX Day. And we're giving our honest opinion on these things. And taking it's all coming in the frame of their updates as a whole. So again, I'm not trying to come across as salty by any means whatsoever. Love the game. I have very high hopes for it, but I'm going to call an orange if it's an orange, Vincent says, Uncle Doug's Storage Solutions. We have Uncle Doug's Storage Solutions over on our Discord. If you guys are looking for people to play with right now, we still have a very active community. Head over to our Discord, !Discord in chat. If you want to join our clan, you don't have to, but if you want to join our clan, you can go to our website, !Website in chat. You'll get a link over to our website where you can submit your very own application to join the Order of the Blood Brothers. But yeah, come over and hang out with us. We got people role-playing as Storage Solutions. We got all kinds of cool RP videos that are going to be coming out as well. We still have the hustle and bustle. So if you guys are looking for people to play with in the interim, please head over and join us on US East Danu RP. We're located in province of Caries, and we're in southern Tremen. So they say, with that in mind, let's dive into some upcoming changes in the next content update. Okay, so this stuff they're saying is coming in the next content update. We don't have a date for it. We do know that it's coming in the autumn. Sometime during fall, we will be getting this update according to everything that we've heard so far. The things that we know are coming in it are the economy. So we're going to be getting the gold currency, maybe some other currency, and we're going to be getting the marketplaces. They have alluded and pretty much have told us that there's going to be a social rework. Whatever that means, whether that means friends list or permissions for clans, I'm not sure, but to some degree, we're getting a social rework as well. Other than that, everything else that I can tell is up in the air. We do not know what is going to be in there. So they say, everything following this now, we're diving into things that are coming in the next content update, according to what they've prefaced it with right here. First category we got here is character movement. First off, moving around the world will feel smoother. One major change is that running, not walking, will be the default movement speed. Okay, I'm trying to think of what that means in terms of what the gameplay is right now. Because currently, as it currently is, you can run or walk as the default. So I'm not sure what that means. It really just depends on if you've pressed shift or not. If you press shift once, if you just tap it, your character will be running until you press shift again, until you tap it one more time, like press it and release, and now you'll be walking until you repeat that process again. So I'm not sure what they mean by one major change is that running, not walking, will be the default movement speed. Voodoo Actual says, what's up? Hello from Humvee. Oh, you're out on duty, man? Great to see you. Thanks for taking the time out of your day, your busy duty scheduled day, to come and stop by the stream and go over some combat changes and some upcoming changes to the game. It's great to see you, man. I hope you're having a great day. Hope duty's going well. So that's kind of interesting to me. And they put it in bold for a reason. Running, not walking, will be the default movement speed. Let me know what you guys think about that, because there's not really a default movement speed right now as far as I'm concerned. You press shift if you want to run, and then you press it again if you want to RP walk. Vincent says maybe it's a shuffle rather than a slow walk. Oh, maybe. It's not very clear. They say currently when your character is idling a bit, their movement is changed to walking instead of running. Is that the case? I've not noticed that. I don't think that's true. Let me know if you guys think that that's true or not. According to what I'm reading here, they're saying that currently when your character idles for a bit, like if you have not ran in a while or moved at all, your movement will automatically be changed to walking. That's not really true. As far as I know, whatever you've pressed last for shift determines if you're walking or running. Rebecca says RP walk is the default. You toggle run on. But right, Rebecca, what happens after you toggle the run on by pressing shift, though? Now you're running everywhere. Isn't that the... I'm kind of confused on that, because it's like there's really not I guess the one that if you log in, let's say you log in right now and you go to move, you'll be walking until you press shift, but it's not like pressing shift. That doesn't sound like that big of a deal to me. Once you press shift, you're running until you press shift again. Like you literally will run until you press shift again. So I'm not sure what they're saying there. That's a little confusing. They say, of course, we will keep the run walk toggle and the ability to sprint. And for those who prefer the current system, there will be an option in the settings to re-enable it. Hawk says running faster. I don't think they're running any faster, because they said that they're going to keep the walk, jog, run. And they're even going to keep the toggle for the sprint. That's interesting. I'm not too sure what they really mean by that, but apparently they're going to be making running, not walking, the default movement speed. And currently the character is, after they idle for a bit, it'll change to walking instead of running. Of course, we will keep the run walk toggle. So you'll be able to, if you guys like the way that the movement is right now, you'll be able to keep it that way by going into the settings. Normally, I'm not a fan of them putting in the extra effort in order to keep an old system when the game is understandably going to be evolving. I think the game's going to be drastically different once it comes out of early access. But I'm not a fan of when they try to keep the old systems in place, because the reason the system's being replaced is for a reason. And if that reason has enough oomph behind it, the old system should be done away with. That's just my opinion for most things. Like, it's an iterative process, they're saying, so why are we keeping the old systems? But as long as it didn't take too much effort to put a toggle in there, hey, the more settings for people to customize their experience, the better. Rebecca says, no, if you have been standing still for any period of time, when you start moving, you'll be walking again. If not, that's what I would call a major change. Oh, it's not what I would call a major change. I understand. Okay, I guess I've never really noticed that then, I guess, because I'm so used to in games pressing shift and whenever I want to run, I guess I've literally never noticed that. But it sounds like it will default back to running instead of walking. In my opinion, that's a bad change. Especially in an RP server, I want to walk first. So if I've had a long RP session in a tavern with someone, how am I supposed to know if I'm ready to walk or run? I want to walk away. I don't want it to be some awkward situation where I jolt and then I start walking, you know? That seems a bit odd. It seems a little backwards. You'd think that you would default to walking, but nevertheless, it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal either way. Maybe they can give us an indicator with a little running man or a walking guy or something, you know, as a little heads up on the display to let us know if we're going to walk or run. I don't know, but it seems very minuscule. All of this seems inconsequential at all anyways. So for them to say it's a major update is kind of interesting. Hawk says walk will be the current run speed. No, I don't think they're changing the speed, Hawk. I think they're changing what it reverts to automatically, because Rebecca is saying that it right now it will default you back to walking after you idle for a bit. I haven't noticed that. So if it does do that, it's not a big deal at all. You just press shift again. And I kind of would prefer it to go to walking, but I don't think they're changing any of the speeds, Hawk. They're just changing what it's defaulting to from what I can understand. Rebecca says, I think it's just fluff. There are things far more important that need to be worked on, in my opinion. Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. So hopefully this is not an indication of what else is coming here. They go on to say, additionally, swimming will be less taxing as we plan to reduce the stamina cost of moving through water. I think that's a good change, to be honest. It's strange. Okay, this is a game, right? We need to be able to get through water. You're wearing plate mail, though, and you're wearing all this heavy stuff and carrying all this shit through water. You would not really be able to swim that well, let alone for that long. But I think from a gameplay standpoint, being able to swim longer will just help you to get places faster. It almost seems like they designed some of the spots in the world to be roundabout on purpose. Like you have to go way down south and then swoop back up to go across the bridge where you could just swim across the water if you have enough stamina. So I feel like they should just make it a little easier to get around by putting more bridges and paths places. We wouldn't need to swim, but being able to swim a little further will just help you to get to more places easier. Hawk says, I want a horse. I'm tired of just walking everywhere. I agree 100% as well. I'm right there with you, Hawk. I think we definitely need mounts. We need the church system with the fast travel. If you guys don't know about that, in previous episodes of PaxCast, we've talked about the church system and how it's going to be introducing fast travel from point to point using the grace system. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. But yeah, we need some way to get around a little bit better, whether it be mounts or even just being able to carry more in a carriage, even if it's a hand cart or a trolley, the church fast travel, whatever it may be. We do need something like that. Robert says, hello, Inner Sleuths community and fellow blood brothers. Fadril. How's it going, Fadril? Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by the stream, man. We're just going over these changes that are supposedly coming, as they say right up here in the next content update. So all of this is inconsequential as far as I'm concerned. The swimming, they put it in caps like it's so important, but it's very minor database change. But nevertheless, I think swimming will be better when it's less taxing. Last but not least, fall damage will be refactored to ensure consistency so you can better predict how much a fall will hurt. I mean, you can kind of gauge it right now as it is, but I'm not mad about that at all. I think that could potentially be some good stuff. We're going to move right on since that was basically all inconsequential stuff up there. We're going on to melee combat. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have already read this, but again, this is about my thoughts and your thoughts. Let me know if you guys have already read this. As we come up on points that I'm talking about, let me know your guys' opinions on these things. Don't be shy. Let it rip in chat, guys. This is what this is all about, is engaging with you about the information that we have before us. So they go on to say melee combat. Melee combat is receiving a lot of love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love to hear that. When engaged in combat, your character will automatically face a target based on the direction you're looking in. I'm trying to extrapolate in my brain how that would work. Moving and rotating towards an enemy during combat will allow for smoother movement in combat and target changes. Are they talking about like auto? Is it going to be moving your character? Is your character's direction going to automatically face the target? I'm not sure I like that. That sounds like it's going to be taking away your authority to which direction you want to. So I don't know if you guys have played Dark and Darker or insert any physics-based combat game here. Sometimes you want to aim a little off kilter or lead the target or do things on purpose. This is sounding like, and from this picture here, there's a target in front of him. Let's say he was facing a little bit to this direction. Is he swinging this way and it's automatically locking on to this guy here because he's in front of him? How are you supposed to choose which target you're wanting to swing at then if it's automatically making you face the enemy? I think there's a video down below, so we may get some of our questions answered here, but that does not sound like a good change in my opinion. I like to have authority over my character, which direction I'm facing, where I'm swinging, all kinds of stuff. And if you're locking on, if they ever introduce a dodge mechanic, if you're automatically facing and locking on to the target like that, it's almost like aimbot, but for your sword or your melee weapons. That would be really strange. I don't know your guys' opinion on that. Let me know. Rebecca said they did give a video in the official Discord. I'll have to check that out too. I think it's the same video that's on here. Maven says if it's too automated, I would be concerned that I wouldn't like it. Yes, absolutely. I like authority over my character. One of the biggest things about World of Warcraft that makes it feel so good to me is you can jump in the air while you have momentum to the side, turn to face this way, cast a spell, reface this way before you land, and keep running. You can like jump and do stuff, attacks behind you while you're going, because you have that much authority, and it feels good to have that level of responsiveness. So if they're automatically facing the target, I'm not a big fan of automated things. Imagine pulling out a bow and someone's within your crosshair range, so it just automatically locks onto them and aims just right. Like, that takes all the skill out of it. It takes all the, I like physics-based combat where you're actually choosing where you're swinging and stuff. So I'm not too sure about that. Let me know if you guys have any more opinions on that. It sounds like that could be pretty strange. As part of improving responsiveness, we'll also add a bunch of new early exit conditions for melee attacks. Now we're talking. Okay, this is giving us more authority over our characters, because right now, once you're locked into an animation, whatever it may be, a spell or a heavy attack, a quick attack, a shield bash, a block, whenever you're like locked into that, you have to wait for the full animation to carry out. They go on to say you'll be able to interrupt your melee attacks by taking other actions like spellcasting, blocking, jumping, or performing special melee attacks. Knowing this now, with the automatically facing a target thing, it still might feel weird if they're like controlling your character for you and making you face a certain target. Maybe you didn't want to face that target, but being able to interrupting your melee attacks and taking other actions like spellcasting, blocking, jumping, or performing special melee attacks, being able to interrupt all of those things, that's good in my book. That gives you more authority over your character. It feels good when you have the control to do what you want when you want with your character. Even if it's to the point where your character can do a strange animation. Like in World of Warcraft, you can make your character look funny by interrupting stuff and doing weird things like that. But having that level of control is okay. It's good. It makes it okay because it's good to have that level of control, in my opinion. They go on to say that most will only be available during the anticipation phase of the attack. Interesting. So most interruptions will only be available during the anticipation phase of the attack, but performing a special melee attack allows an animation to cancel from the regular melee hit directly to the special attack. Okay, so I understand. This guy's fighting this guy here. Let's say he's swing. He can like in the middle of he can go to heavy attack in the middle of the swing, like he could be on the downstroke, do the heavy jab, go back to your swings. In the middle of a swing, shield bash. I like that. That gives you more authority over being able to do stuns and things like that, setting up your crowd control. The one thing that needs to come along with that, and this is my biggest gripe, honestly, my biggest gripe of the game is that they don't fix the bugs quick enough. And I'm not talking like small little issues, big, large, huge, egregious issues, such as enemies can spellcast and they even were melee attacking while they were stunned. What's the point of an interrupt or a stun if it's not going to stop them from doing their actions? They have dizzy particles above their head and you wasted a bunch of stamina. That's all that took place. If they don't get actually interrupted or stop them from casting their spells, we'll have people be dizzy from a shield bash or a weapon stun, and they'll still put down a chili ring or they'll still get a heal off or something. That's the main problem, in my opinion. So all of these things are good and dandy, interrupting your own melee attacks and being able to do your heavy and special stuns and jumps and blocks and all of this stuff in the middle of your, having that authority. That's all fine and dandy. But if it doesn't have any profound effect on the enemies, on the target, what's the point of it? Lickham says true. Maven says, I suspect we will see improvement with interrupting casters. I hope so, but that's my biggest concern right now is we have egregious bugs and exploits. A lot of people have gotten to the point where they are today solely by exploiting dungeons and cheating. I don't condone those actions. I do not promote those actions. I do not make videos showing people how to do it. I know those videos get clicks because everybody wants to know how to cheat and how to gain the advantage. But I don't support the exploits and the cheats that are within the game. I think that those things need to be reported and then not abused. And my reasoning behind that is not only is it not fun because you're not earning things legitimately, like you didn't actually get that prize that you have, you cheated to get it. It's like if you're in a race and you cheat, you didn't actually earn the first place trophy, you cheated to get it. It's not a reward. It's not an award for you. You literally cheated to obtain it. But the other big issue is it ruins all of the data that's downstream of that. They're collecting data right now on how hard it is to kill monsters, what the drop rates are, what the acquisition rate of items and things from bosses, how quick are people progressing. And when you're cheating and exploiting, it ruins all of that data downstream. That's my biggest gripe. There's a lot of really, really, really egregious problems with the game like that. And I'll just say this, almost every dungeon run that we go on, we will see somebody in there solo mez fireballing or solo hiding up on a wall where they're glitched up on a wall and they're killing the bosses over and over again just to farm their sigils. Those types of things ruin all the rest of the data that's downstream. That's why I'm not a fan of it. Nothing we do right now matters other than making friends, building cool communities, and testing out the game to give them feedback and help them collect data. That's it. Nothing is going to be kept. So I'm not sure what people think they're accomplishing by amassing millions of sigils or something like that. All it's going to do is ruin the economy, because the economy is going to be dead in the water if they release it without wiping the ill-gotten gains from a lot of people cheesing the system and exploiting and cheating. That's just my opinion. I think the economy is going to be dead in the water unless they change some of that. Maven says, someone hiding in the dark spot as we go through, as well as had been odd, or though has been odd, appears that they are continuing with cheesing. Yeah, you should not be able to go to a dungeon by yourself and acquire the stuff that people have been acquiring. It's extremely cheesy and it ruins all the data. That's why I'm so against it, honestly, because I want to see this game be a success. And in order to be a success, you guys got to put in the F8 reports. You got to let them know these problems and don't abuse the problems, because you're just perpetuating bad data. All that data they're getting then is ruined because they don't know how fast you could actually progress. They don't know how fast you can actually acquire these things. They don't know if they need to make it harder or easier because all the data is skewed by cheating. Maven says they will hide, log off, log back in later, and carry on. Yeah, there's been a lot of cheaty, exploity things that have been going on. And that's my point, is they're allowing us to interrupt melee attacks. They're allowing us to have more authority over when we do our special attacks and other actions like spellcasting, blocking, jumping, or performing special melee attacks. All that's good and dandy, but if they don't fix the exploits, if they don't fix the bugs, like the mobs not actually being stunned, it's kind of inconsequential, because if you stun something sure, you can stun something in the middle of an attack, but that stun has no profound effect. So what's the point? They need to fix those things. So they say that these are only going to be really available during the anticipation phase of the attack, but performing special melee attacks allows an animation to cancel for the regular melee hit to the special attack. I think that's really great changes. Let's get the bugs fixed that are preventing that from being substantial. They go on to say here that many weapon animations will be retimed or remade to improve responsiveness and add forward momentum to attacks. That's kind of interesting. There's going to be forward momentum added to the attacks. I'm all for the animations being smoothed out. I've said this from the beginning. From the alpha that I was in to full release right now, it was substantially different the way that combat felt. Combat was super, super rough and locked into animations. You felt like you had no authority over your character's actions because you were locked into these extremely long and drawn out animations. It's a lot better how it is right now. Like literally worlds different. It feels like a completely different combat system. So if they can do that again, and it keeps getting better and better in iterations like that, I'm all for it. So they're going to be changing the weapon animations and retiming them to make the responsiveness feel a little bit better, making it much easier to hit moving targets with your attacks. You will also be able to aim attacks up or down to strike enemies on different elevations. Interesting. I can think of several situations where that would be useful. I can think of many situations where that could be even better for exploiters. If they're glitched up on a wall and you can aim down, you can be higher and safer and be able to hit the target much easier. I don't like how animals like bears and stuff, they can be cheesed by like, I don't even want to tell people. I mean, I'm sure everybody here knows because we've seen people doing it. It's like no one really farms bears legit. No one really does dungeons legit. So I'm sure you guys know the issues, but being able to stab up and down, I feel like will help those people do that stuff better. So again, they need to fix the bugs and the and the exploits before they implement these. Otherwise, they're inconsequential. But I'm looking forward to being able to interrupt my melee attacks and have more authority over when I can do spellcasting, blocking, and stuff like that. And having the weapon animations retimed and smoothed out is going to be pretty good. I wonder what they mean by forward momentum to your attack. So like if I do a regular sword attack, am I just going to take steps forward automatically? Do I have authority over that? Because what if I want to swing my sword at a cliff or something for whatever reason? Am I going to fall off because my character's moving forward? I don't think it should be an automatic thing. If they are going down that path, what they should do is make it to where whatever direction you're holding on your keyboard for movement, when you do the attack, that's the direction you'll step in. So if you're not moving when you do the attack, you'll stand still. If you're holding S, you'll back up as you swing. If you press W, if you're holding W to go forward, then you'll take a step forward. I feel like that would be a much better approach to it. Hopefully it's not just you always have forward momentum. Because that coupled with the lock-on, I could see how that would bring you closer to the target, but it's almost like making it mind-numbing at that point then. You're automatically locking onto the target, and it's moving you closer to the target. It's going to become more of a spam click with a little bit more authority over when you do your specials. We'll have to see. There is a video down below. I see it just peeking up a little bit. We'll have to see if they show us some of this stuff in there. They go on to say that hit detection will also be improved to better match actual weapon movement. For example, spears will deal damage in a line-shaped zone, so like a linear attack in front of you. That makes sense because you're doing like a actual forward stab, you know, maybe a lunge attached to that. While great axes will strike enemies in a circular radius, making the weapon feel more distinct. Now we're talking. Now we're really, really talking. And this is still not that huge of an improvement, but I feel like this could have some pretty good changes for the game. I've noticed that with a great sword or things where it looks like you're swinging around in a big range, your targets are not all the targets are actually getting hit when they should be, in my opinion. So the fact that they're going to be improving the hitboxes and the ranges and cones of these different attacks, that's great news. Now we're getting into some pretty good stuff here. Here's a image of what looks like a person winding up to do an attack. They're like bent way over. It looks like they're about to swing up and slash through everybody, maybe. It's showing the damage hitting all four of them. Trying to see if there's anything hidden in here. These spells. Let's zoom in here and see. I know it's off screen for you guys. I'm looking at these spell icons. They appear to be the same. So there's nothing. I was thinking, because sometimes they'll sneak stuff in here, you know? Everything looks to be the same there. Looks like all the foods are common. Oh, their armor. Look at the armor on these guys. These enemies here. Let me zoom in again. Hold on. These enemies are wearing like chainmail, those leg protecting armor. I don't think we have anything like this. This looks like some new armor here in the game. It almost looks like that's like samurai armor. Does it? Doesn't it? Let me know, guys. Have you guys seen this in game? It looks purple. There's purple on that for sure. You're seeing what I'm seeing, right? And these are Inquisitor Pura, Manic Torturer, Wary Austerity, and Inquisitor. These are all named mobs as well. That's kind of interesting. They're wearing like scale mail. Maven says, I would bet that would be out of Damascus steel. Maybe. We may be seeing, because they love to do that. They'll put little teasers and stuff in there like that. That may be some new sets of armor. I don't really remember seeing anything purple at all, but it looks like an entire suit of armor there. This guy's holding a bow. It looks like it's curved like a bow. I was going to say maybe it's a staff, but it looks like a bow. I don't see any of these other guys having weapons at all in their hands. It's kind of hard to tell. But that is a new armor set. Let's zoom back out here. They say right now it can be very difficult to hit fleeing animals and even frustrating. That is kind of true. You have to like kind of lead them or head them off by running in front of them and then attacking. These changes should give a better feeling while hunting animals, but that would apply to the system that I said, and it also would give you more authority. The direction you're holding when you do your attack, you should step in that direction and then complete the attack. I'm worried that with this auto step system and this auto aim system, it's going to kind of put you on autopilot too much, which I don't think would be good for the combat system. But we won't know until, these are just my opinion, we won't know until we actually get it. You know what I mean? Like once we actually get this, we'll be able to test it out and see for ourselves. But I'm glad that there are changes coming down. The hit detection one I'm kind of most excited for. These changes should give a better feeling when hunting animals and players. Oh, they ... and players. I think they know about the fact that it's kind of not really a secret in PvP. You can almost always just run away from somebody or walk away from somebody. If you're moving in a direction away from the target who's trying to hit you, and they're moving at the same speed in that direction that they're trying to chase you, if they go to swing to hit you, it will always miss because you're moving and you're out of the range by the time the attack goes off. So I think that's what they're alluding to here. You're going to be taking steps and not so much interrupting your movement while you're actually doing the attack, which will be definitely interesting. PvP is going to take a big turn. And they go on to say, and speaking about PvP, we also consider testing a significant change where characters will be slowed down for a few seconds when hitting another player. I don't like that at all. I think that would be terrible. Lickham says, so will hitting the head hurt more then? No, they haven't said anything like that yet, Lickhams. They've said talking about hit detection, so just if the hit goes through. They have not talked about crit zones or different damage zones or anything like that as of yet. And I don't think, it sounds like they're not really going towards a physics-based system, so I don't think that will be a thing unless something significant changes. Maybe with the bow, we would have crit spots. But when you're attacking, if you're auto-locking on and you're auto-stepping towards the target, you have little authority over where you're actually hitting the target, if that makes sense. Samomo, great to see you. She hit me with the brisket. I want to get brisket today. I think I might. I think I might get some brisket today, you know? Because tomorrow's our big event. And for people who are in chat who don't know, the Order of the Blood Brothers is hosting a big Festival of Realms event tomorrow, the 21st at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we'll be gathering. We got a lot of fun things planned. We have the Fabled Forage, which is a scavenger hunt, the Moonlit Market for trading things, the Freedom Feast, where we will reaffirm our stance to protect the free people of Tremin and beyond, stand in the gap between the darkness, and help to take out trolls and bad actors within the community to help make the game a fun place for everybody. The Luminous Vigil will also be taking place there. We have an archery range. We have, what else do we have? Oh, a maze. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. It's going to be a very big stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. A ton of people are coming out to partake in all of that. But I think I need to get some brisket today because tomorrow is going to be a pretty big stream. So I'm not too sure how to feel about some of these. Let me know, what are your guys' thoughts on this? The auto aiming. Maven said a little bit about, if it's too automated, she's not going to like it. What do you guys think about this? Auto lock onto the target in front of you. Like right here, for instance, there's 4 guys here. If you're swinging, which one is it going to be aiming at? I guess it doesn't matter because they also in the same breath said that hit detection will be improved and it's going to be more sweeping strikes and things for certain weapons. So this sword will sweep all of them and it's going to, maybe you're aiming at the guy in the middle, but it'll hit all of them. I don't know. We got to get our hands on it and see. Maven says we have an auto lock option. If it remains an option, then they'll be okay. Oh, you're talking about pressing X to actually lock on. I think that's more for controllers. I could be wrong. I don't know. I've never used it. I kind of forgot that it was even an option, but they're talking about it just being the default from my understanding. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that in chat. And if you're watching this in the future, let me know in the comments section. I go back and I read all the comments too. I do my best to reply to all of them. So let me know in the comments if you're watching this in the future, and you'll also get an entry into winning that free copy of PAX Day. Maven says it's tab in the game on the keyboard. Oh, it is tab? I could have sworn it was X. I would love tab targeting in this game. I'm not going to lie. I would absolutely love tab targeting. I almost feel like it's not really necessary for melee attacks because they're going to be sweeping and it's just kind of what's in front of you. But I'm envisioning it like this, and this is a problem that I see. Let's say this guy right here on the right is running to the right. He's going this way. Let's say he's not getting any further away from you. He's not going away, but he's just moving. He's orbiting you. He's moving this way around you because he wants to flank you. If I'm locked onto him from this automatic lock on, and I start the animation for my heavy attack, as he's moving, does my character stay locked onto him, and as throughout the whole animation do I kind of like pivot and follow him with the attack? If that's the case, I'm not sure I'm going to like that. It's going to automate the combat so much to the point where missing attacks and dodging and stuff is not really going to be a thing. And that really comes down to PvP because the AI doesn't really have too many things like that they're doing currently. Maven says maybe it is X. I think it is X. I hit it on once by accident. Rebecca says, I have it set to X, but getting it to change targets is glitchy as hell. Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, the targeting of the spells and things, I think. I would not be opposed to tab targeting. Just let me cycle through the targets. Let me have a keybind for target nearest hostile or target nearest ally. Target whatever lowest health. And I don't want it to be, you know, like World of Warcraft where it's just this completely automated system. I think it should have some level of nitty-grittiness to it. But if it's working how I think it's going to work, I'm going to be very skeptical of this. We're going to keep a close eye on this as this goes forward and how this develops. I do not like the idea of getting slowed for a few seconds when you're hit by another player in PvP. I just don't like that at all. I think it can concuss you and have some type of effect, but slowing you down, oh man, there's so many different ways that I can feel about that. Let me know what you guys think about that in chat. Being slowed every time you get hit. That basically means if you get hit, you can no longer run because they will be moving at full speed and you'll be moving slower. So you will not be able to get away whatsoever. And Miranda says, I'm not happy about slowing down when switching out attacks. Fire then a mace, because that second or two is when I get attacked by boars, badgers, etc. I'm not concerned about the battle animation as I am about nerfing our combat. That's interesting take on it. So you're talking about when you actually go from switching you click your fireball and you're going to blast somebody with the fireball, and now you want to go to attacking. You're talking about the hang time between then. I think that's going to be more fluid. I think you'll actually have an easier time or a better time with that, and you'll be able to interrupt things too. So if you're starting to do a swing and you decide you want to do a heal, mid-swing you can do a heal. If you're doing a heal and you decide you need to do a shield bash because something's running up on you, you can interrupt that heal and do a shield bash. So I think, Amaranda, from what I'm hearing, it'll actually be, I think it'll actually be better for you according to what we're reading here. But this stunning or slowing down a player just from hitting them, I'm skeptical of that a lot. I'm very, very skeptical of that. Additionally, blocking will come with more meaningful consequences. Oh, okay. Now you're talking my language, because right now blocking hopefully it doesn't just destroy your shield and it actually can last a little bit longer, but they say holding the block button will prevent your stamina from regenerating. This is really interesting right here. So I have a little bit of a story for you guys. I had a mod developed for Minecraft called Action Hunger. I never liked the way that Minecraft's hunger system worked, where you had to have a full belly to regenerate your health. Your hunger had no other profound effect on you until you starved to death, and then you started ticking down damage. I had a mod developed, and it's still actually being updated. It's a really great mod. It's called Action Hunger. This mod overhauled the hunger system to make it more in tune with the combat. You can regenerate health down to a certain percentage, and all this is configurable with the mod. I know this is a tangent, but I'm going to tie it in here for you. You could change it in the settings when you would want health regeneration to stop. So you could be half food, a quarter food, almost out of food, and then your health would stop regenerating. But the hungrier you were, it would have a curve. The hungrier you were, the slower your health would regenerate. But it would passively regen even if you were hungry. So you have that level of passive regeneration, even in combat. Same thing with your, I don't think it wasn't stamina. I think it was your hunger. Your hunger, when you held down the block button, it would consume a lot of hunger. It would do something with your stamina or something like that. So they're saying here, holding the block button will prevent your stamina from regenerating. The same thing happened with my mod in Minecraft. And it makes sense. You shouldn't be able to block and have infinite stamina regenning while you're doing that. You should have to break that cycle in order to get your stamina back. But then this is where it gets confusing. They say, though food and potions will still work. Oh, okay. So they're saying if you are blocking, let's say you're super low on stamina, you're about to run out of stamina. Is there a link over to the wiki? Sa, if you're in chat, can you add a link to the wiki as a command? Amaranda, to get over to the wiki, if you type !website, and then at the top of the page, at the top of the website, you'll see a link over to Wikipedia, the wiki. That's our internally hosted Wikipedia page where we have all kinds of lore and stuff, our compendium. That's how you can get there right now. But it would be nice to actually get a wiki link. Maybe we can make that happen, Sa, if you're still in chat here. I would greatly appreciate it. There you go. Yeah, take that. And then at the very top, you'll see wiki. That's where you can find that. I wonder what they mean by food, though. Because potions make sense. If I'm blocking and I'm getting really... No, you're fine. If I'm blocking and I get really low on stamina, and I unblock for a second, chug a potion, and then reblock, the stamina regen from the potion will take effect. That's what they're saying. That makes sense. What do they mean by food? Because food increases your stamina and your stamina regeneration. It doesn't actually give you stamina, right? Is that a teaser? Is that a hint or something? Because they're saying that blocking will stop stamina regeneration. And the only way you really have stamina regeneration is from your food. If you eat food that has high stamina regeneration, then you have regeneration of stamina. So I don't understand what they mean by that. That sounds a little convoluted there. Thank you, Sa, for creating that. Really appreciate that. So now, guys, you can type !wiki to get over to our Wikipedia page. They go on to say here, and it will also force your character to walk. Okay, this is a good change in my opinion. I agree that you should be. I mean, in real life, you can run with a shield up, but I think from a gameplay standpoint, not being able to run with your shield could actually be a good thing. It's going to make more methodical pulls and stuff. You can't just run all over the place, absorbing all of the damage you're taking. You're going to have to be a little more careful with your pulls. It's going to adjust the way that you're running dungeons. If you're running dungeons legitimately, that is. Robert says some foods give increased stamina. Right, Robert, but those increased staminas is an increase to your maximum stamina. It's how much stamina you have in total. They're talking here that holding block will prevent stamina from regenerating. They're not talking about it will make you have less maximum stamina, but then they go on to say that though food and potions will still work. The potions part makes sense, but the food I'm confused on, because food gives you maximum stamina and it also gives you stamina regeneration. But if you can't regenerate stamina because you're blocking, how can the food help you recover that stamina? I don't understand that there. That sounds like maybe they've misspoken. But it's going to force your character to walk, adding a bit more tactical depth to the defensive gameplay. I like that because I normally tank the dungeons that I go out on. I think that is going to that'll be a good change. I think that's going to make pulling stuff a little more interesting. Lickham says new food might come with a stamina regen. Well, they have that right. Oh, you mean like if you eat this food on the spot, it'll give you a boost to your, like almost like but then what would be the point? There would be overlap between the potions and the food then. That's why I'm confused about it. If I'm missing something, if anybody in chat has any comments on that, please let me know. But I think that's they're talking about food. I think that's a little confusing there. Steven, how's it going? And we got Steven the Goat in chat. He says, woohoo. Great to have you, Steven. I hope you're having a great day so far. Rebecca says, you can walk now with your shield up. So I'm thinking it means you will start walking when you hold up your shield. I think what they're saying, though, Rebecca, is right now you have the option to run with your shield. You can actually start sprinting forward, pull your shield up, keep sprinting forward, aggro guys, and then run backwards while still sprinting with your shield. So I think they're saying that once you bring up your shield, it's going to force you to walk. You will not be able to run. Rebecca goes on to say, so our shield wall will be majorly affected. I think it just means that you will not be able to run. Ryan says some foods come with regen, so I presume they mean your passive stamina regen is ignored. But your standard baseline passive regen is nothing. It's so minuscule and so slow pretty much. That would be weird. Okay, so let me see if I understand you right, Ryan, of your idea on this. Could you say, but the bonus regen from foods and potions will still work? Okay, so your idea is, or your theory on this is that, let's say you have zero 0.5, just some random number, you have 0.5 stamina regen by default. Your stamina comes back at 0.5. When you're blocking, if you have no food in your belly that gives you stamina regen, you will not. You might be onto something here. It's starting to make sense a little bit. Let me paint this picture. I'm going to start from the beginning here to make sure we all understand this. Let's say your stamina regen is 0.5 by default. That's the baseline. No food, no potions, no augmentations. That's your baseline, 0.5. That's a random number. It means nothing. It's going to just be in correlation to the future numbers. If I eat a roast that gives me, it makes stamina food better for tanks. If I eat a roast that gives me 1 additional stamina regeneration, I technically have 1.5 stamina regeneration, but the 0.5 is not used when I'm blocking. So if I'm blocking, I will only have 1 stamina regeneration, not 1.5, because the 0.5 is ignored. If I eat a stew that gives me another additional 1, I will technically have 2.5 total stamina regeneration, but the 0.5 is ignored. So it may be more beneficial to eat foods that give you stamina regen if you're a tank. High health, high stamina regen, high resistances is maybe going to be meta. Because if you're eating things that just have health regeneration, that's going to help with the out of combat like health recovery. But I think stamina foods may become meta then. We just eat a lot of resistance stuff, so that way we don't just die to all the poisons. Robert says, I think it's referring to when your food runs out, stamina goes to normal, then you eat, stamina would regen up to the new max. Yeah, that's what I was suggesting too. Okay, yeah, that would kind of make sense. I don't know if that's exactly what they mean. It's a little vague here. Rebecca says, okay, I have not been able to run with my shield up myself, but have not tried to sprint. Yeah, I do that quite often. If you go watch some of my dungeon runs, I'll actually run out with my shield. I'll get their attention and I'll run backwards with my shield up, blocking their attacks, getting back to my group really quick. We have the shield wall. We collapse on them. We delete the monsters that got pulled, the enemies that got aggroed. So I think they're saying that you will only be able to walk with your shield up. It kind of makes sense for the bigger shields. I think they need to fix it to where the dinner plate is not the best. We call it the dinner plate, the little buckler. That should not be the best, most defensive shield in the game. It barely covers your forearm, and the giant Viking shield is worse. It's weird, but that's inconsequential right now. That's a personal thing. But I think that's what they might mean by food and potions. But we'll have to see how that's going to be going forward. Equipping and Amaranda right here. Equipping and unequipping items will be much easier thanks to an added input queuing system that delays the equip action until it can take place. I like that. I really do. It kind of reminds me of batch spell casting in World of Warcraft, how it used to be much more prominent back in Classic, but you would cast a spell and you could queue up several of them and it would go through when the server would do its batches on intervals, very, very fast intervals, mind you, but it would do batches of the spells that would go through. It's how you were able to kill each other at the same time in World of Warcraft, or cast your spells simultaneously that would have the effects go through at the same time in World of Warcraft with spell batching. Someone says, oh no, that's exactly what Amaranda didn't want. No, I think she's talking about how, so right now there is no batch system at all, right? Right now, when you try to go to switch to something, if you're in the middle of something, you can't interrupt it and you can't switch quickly between your spell and your sword because you're locked in the animation. And this will allow it to be queued up. So with you having the authority over when you interrupt your spell casting and having this batch system, I think it's going to eventually be to what she would want, where you have more authority over, oh shit, I need to cast a fireball, but I'm in the middle of shield slamming or I'm in the middle of a special attack. I think it will allow you to interrupt that and then batch cast or batch do the next action that you're wanting to do. I think that queue system may allow you to actually do what she's trying to do. What's the delay thing? So let's see here. Let's read it again. Equipping and unequipping items will be much easier thanks to the added item queuing system. So what that means is, like, what if you're in the middle of doing an attack and I press number 2? Number 2 would be to switch to my big great maul or something. As soon as I finish my attack with my swing with my sword, then the queue would go through and you would automatically, as soon as you complete the animation and the attack goes through for your sword, you would immediately begin to pull out your hammer. There wouldn't be that whole delay where you're like, oh, I have my shield and my sword, but I want to pull out my insert weapon here. I need to like stand still for a minute, then click it a bunch to try and get him to pull it out. And then half the time you pull it out, put it away, pull it out, put it away a bunch of times. There'll be a queue system. So I can swing, 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 press number 2, swing. It'll finish the last swing and you'll pull out your big maul, if that makes sense. There won't be, it sounds like there won't be an added delay. It'll just make it easier for you to coordinate pulling out your other things and cast other spells by having the queuing system there. You won't have to like spam them and wonder if they're actually going to go through. That's how I interpret it. I could be completely wrong on that. Amaranda says the word delay is what I'm stuck on. Let me see here. Unequipping and equipping items will be much easier thanks to an added queuing system that delays the equip action until it can take place. So I think what it means by delay, and let me interpret this here, and I could be wrong, but the way I'm reading that is, right now, if you're trying to do an attack or a fireball or a spell, in between that, you're trying to pull out another weapon, it gets ignored right now. So it does nothing. If I'm in the middle of casting a big heal and I try to press number 2 to pull out my next weapon, it does nothing. You just wasted that click and you don't know if it's going to pull it out or not. So you end up spamming the button to try and pull out your bow or pull out your great maul or your shield. What this sounds like it's going to do is it's going to take that command that you just typed that will normally do nothing, and it will delay it until it can actually go through, thus actually probably increasing your responsive time. It's kind of like the way World of Warcraft is, where there's a little bit of server latency. If you press your spell before you're finished casting your previous spell, it will start to cast your next spell immediately, as fast as humanly possible for the server, because that's the way the batching works. So from my understanding is that you're casting a big heal, right? It takes you 2 seconds to cast it. You're in the animation, you put your hands down, you finish the cast. In between that, if you have pressed any of the numbers to pull out your spells or your other weapons, it will save that click. And then as soon as you finish the animation and the stuff that you're going through doing, it will then pull it out. That's my understanding. So I think it will actually lend itself to be what more along lines what you are actually looking for. Again, I could be wrong on that. This is my interpretation of it, though. Let me know if you guys think I'm wrong on that. Some almost says, I thought it will be a delay. Well, technically, I guess they're not wrong by calling it a delay, but would you rather have it where you're doing this long animation of healing and you're pressing number 2 over and over again, because if you press it in the middle of it, it does nothing? Or would you rather have it, you're doing this healing, you press number 2 to pull out your Great Maul, and then as soon as your character has the ability to pull that weapon out, as soon as you finish the heal, he'll pull it out immediately and you got it in your hands, you can go straight to attacking. I think that's what they mean by the delay. Maven says I'm under that impression as well, Void. Yeah, just from all my experience with different games and stuff, I think that's what they're talking about. It's more of a batch system. You can queue up your next actions and it will be saved by the server and executed as soon as possible, which I think will be good in the long run. Maven says avoids the rapid unequip equipped from happening when spamming the switch weapon button. Yeah, exactly. I can be in the middle of a heal or in the middle of a jab like this guy is down here, in the middle of this swing. That swing will go through, and then as soon as that swing is completed, you'll pull out your other weapon. Ryan says, no, that sounds right, where your commands are queued up, and then presumably the canceling of an action interacts with the current action. Yeah, so that would even work too. If you somehow interrupt that action, it would immediately go to the queued up action, which would be pull out your other weapon. I think it will actually, that sounds like a good thing to me. I think that's actually going to lend itself to be a very fluid system. Just because I know the way World of Warcraft works and it uses a batch system, sounds similar to this. And that's the reason that I really love the spellcasting and the attack timing in World of Warcraft, because you have the ability to basically tell the server, this is what I want to do next, and it will do it as soon as it possibly can. Maven says, I am hopeful it will be an enhancement. If it isn't, I will be amongst the horde that will be submitting feedback on it. Absolutely. Again, yeah, we don't know what these things are going to be like. We'll be testing them out day one with you guys. Come on, hop in the game with us and have fun. As soon as we get this stuff, let's test it out and make sure we give our F8 feedback on it. That's what this platform is all about, guys. We want to make sure that Mainframe knows there's a large community of people out there who are hoping that certain things will get done with the game in certain directions, and we are voicing our opinions. That's what the F8's for. Maven says ESO behaves similarly. Yeah, I think a lot of games behave similarly. Sa says okay, and then she hit us with the ooh-woo. All right, let's see what else we got here. We have a video. I'm going to play this. So we talked about the equipping and unequipping there. Any more thoughts on anything we've talked about, guys? Just let me know in chat. I'm more than happy to go back on other stuff as well. Maven says, I get what you're saying, Amaranda, but the risk with losing data goes up if you try to immediately sync. Yeah, I think the batch is actually a good way of doing it. Let's see this combat video here. It looks like spotlight on the combat, which is a work in progress. Oh, did you see that? Okay. I'm going to be breaking this down, guys. We may spend a little bit of time on this. I was exactly right about the shield bash. The combat looks a little more, I think they're going to make it a little more fluid looking. It looks a little jittery right now, but watch this. In the middle of doing some attacks, let me see if I can zoom in here a notch. Not really. In the middle of doing an attack, is there a way I can download this? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to take this full screen for us. Bear with me 1 second here. All right, let me go over to their Discord. I think I can download the video from their Discord maybe because they posted it on there, I think. No, they just put a link to it. Damn. Okay. I was hoping I could take it full screen for you guys. Looks like that's not really going to be... We could see it well enough. I was hoping to bring it full screen, but so it looks like he's doing attacks, and then he immediately does a shield bash while he's in the middle of an attack. So the attack gets put on the back burner and immediately goes to that special attack. That's what they were talking about, how you're going to have more authority over... This is a one-handed sword. You have more authority over it. Open it in YouTube. Oh yeah, good idea. Yeah, let me try that. It's going to open this link, though. And the link is going to... I guess that's a little better. You can't see all the stuff on the side, but that's not the important stuff. The important stuff is right in the middle. Let me start it from the beginning here. And if I do... No, default view is worse. Yeah, we're going to leave it just like this. Okay. He did a slash attack there. You saw he was swing. He did a special attack with his sword, and now he's immediately going into a shield bash. Can I put the playback on? Let's put it on quarter speed. Let's really break this down, because this is the juicy stuff. This is what we've wanted right here. So he does slash, special slash for 31 damage into... He starts a swing, and he interrupts it and does a shield bash immediately. I like that. I want to know what made him able to turn to this guy, though. Did he just reposition his mouse to face this direction, and now he's going after this guy? But that was smooth. Check that out, guys. Special slice for 31 damage into another attack, but then he decides halfway through he wants to do a shield bash. And if you notice, both of those attacks actually went through because he did enough of the attack in order to have it follow through with the damage. Ryan says, don't forget, you can also slow it down. Oh, yeah, that's what I just did. I'm going to mute it because it sounds weird as hell to me. Shield bash. Now he's slicing this guy. And this is those hit detection boxes, because you see he slashed this guy. Numbers are probably going to show up above both of these guys' heads here. Yep, because that one... So let me go back a little bit again. He slashes this guy, it only hits him. And now this backhand swing hits both of them. So that's kind of like tying in combo attacks based on hitboxes and what sequence you are in the attack sequence. Because you do different animations when you swing, like 1, 2, 3 swings. That's really quite interesting. He does an upper hand slice that hits both of them. Into a stab, which only hits this guy. He's backing up here because he wants to reposition to be able to hit both of them while he's blocking. And is it just me or does the health bars look a little different? They have like a dark outline around them. Looks like he's blocking now. Let's see this block. He can only walk, and it did 9 absorption into his shield there, into his stamina. He does a slash. That was a double slash because something procced. Whatever this sword is, I'm not sure what that sword is. Make sure we're on the highest quality here. It procced something. It hit for 13, and then it procced for 17. One of them goes down, and there's another proc, 13 and 17, kills him. So let's watch that whole sequence through at full speed, and then we'll slow it back down. We'll go on to the next section there. So this is normal speed now of some of the combat changes. And keep in mind, they do have this labeled as work in progress. See what I mean by it? This is normal speed here. It looks like it's almost sped up. But hey, it looks like it's bringing it into a little bit more of an action-style combat, Here's 3 of them. We'll watch this through at full speed, and then we'll break it down. Does a slash. It's targeting the one guy. He's backing up to be like, oh, he doesn't have a shield this time. What? They cut it off because he was going to die. That's funny. Okay, let's slow this down and see if there's anything in here that we're missing. He's fighting 3 guys here, and it looks like they have... Okay, it's showing them that they're in combat now. Look above their health. It tells you a number. It has a number above their head. This says 20, 11, and 10, and there's crossed swords, I guess presumably telling you that they're in combat. I can't really read what that guy's name is. Oh, it's the Hive Tender. Zebian, Carver, a Lookout, and a Hive Tender. But they have numbers above their heads, presumably for their difficulty or their level, something like that, but there's no real levels in the game. He's using a 2-handed sword now, and you can see the sweeping strikes. That was a crit. Was that not? So it crit the guy in the middle only. Right there, 27 on him because he was in the focal point. He's doing a forward lunge stab. That hit all of them. Quite a bit of damage there. He's targeting only this guy over here now. Oh, no, that's the damage he's taking. 15 and whatever else. Ryan says cross swords, I think, is a hostile marker. Could be, yeah. He's backing up. He goes for another slash. It's going to hit all of them. All right, here is the... I want to watch that in full speed. That 2-handed combat, I want to see in full speed. The 2-handed sword really doesn't... This Y-hander looks like a big 2-handed sword. This one doesn't really look like a 2-handed sword, even though it is. But you can see how much more fluid it is. It looks like he has more... Like they have more authority over their attacks. So here's the one-handed spear. Special attack right into... Oh, what the heck was that? Did you see that? Oh, that was the guy doing the attack where he sucks his soul. It almost looked like some holy barrier or something in front of him. Guys, what weapon is he using here? What weapon is this? This is a new weapon. This looks like... So this is a spear, and it's green, first of all, so that looks different in and of itself. No, that might be already in the game. But the next weapon he uses, I'm pretty sure, is a new weapon. So you can see how it's not really cleaving. It's doing a more focal attack with the spear. That's good because a lot of people use the spears just because they're kind of meta. Look at this weapon. It says two-handed spear, but look at the tip of it. Maybe it says could be a spear, be the poison proc one. Oh, is that what it looks like? Okay. Oh, no, you're talking about the green one. I could have sworn this looked like a halberd or something on the tip. Oh, this is just the one with the... It's just the special one. I saw the flag hanging on it, and it looked like it had a big blade like a halberd or something at first. But it's just the special spear, the one with the proc on it. Yeah, the green one, Maven. I got you. I thought this was a halberd at first, because right there it looked like it had a big halberd head on it. So you can see much more direct attacks. That damage cone is going to go out in front. I don't understand the swipe with the spear. That's not how you use a spear. That seems kind of weird. Maybe it says, although I thought the one-handed, you thought that one-handed one, I'm almost sure it would be one-handed. The first one was one-handed, yeah. The one that you thought was poison. This is the two-hander. What do we got here? This is two-handed axe. Oh, big whirlwind attacks on these. So I think that was his special, maybe. Right here, I'm going to back up just a bit. He starts to do an attack, and then something interrupted it. I don't know if he's just showing us that you can interrupt them. I wonder what causes the interrupt. Is it simply moving? Because if that's the case, you're going to miss a lot of attack opportunity by trying to walk. But watch this. He goes to swing. He's up in the air, and he's going to come down, and he interrupts it. I think he's going to do the big whirlwind attack. No, it's just a standard. Oh, yeah, that had to be a big attack, right? So he was doing a regular overhand downward strike, but decided he wanted to do his big swing, so it interrupted it mid animation. We can also watch down here. Well, you can't see it, it's off screen, but I'll tell you if that's what it was or not, because there's a little spot here where I can see his special attacks. So he goes to do the overhead swing. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, because right when he does that, over here right off screen, his special attack goes on cooldown. So he was doing a standard overhead swipe or strike and decided he wanted to use his special ability, so it immediately interrupted the animation and went straight into the special one, just like they said in chat. I like that. Having authority like that, even if the animations look a little goofy, it's important to be able to have that control over your character. So he does a big slash on them. Now he's blocking. He took damage through the block. He's eating something. Or drink. Oh, he drank a potion? No, he didn't drink a potion. I'm not sure what he did there. He ate something. It looks like he put something in his mouth, but nothing on his hotbar lights up any different. Watch right here. He did something. I'm not sure what he did there. Got some big sweeping strikes. It's nice to see those combat ranges now, like the hitboxes and the cones change. There's the lunge. Okay. So he goes to attack this deer, and the swipe just lunges him forward after it. I want to see it while he's moving. Chase that other deer and then do it again. Come on. I want to see how that works. Because the animal's standing still. I want to see what it's like in a chase. You know what I mean? It looks like they just made the emphasis on the forward momentum of your steps when you're attacking. They made it a little bit higher. Which I think that could be kind of good, as long as, again, it's not too animated or locks you. As long as it doesn't lock you into something, or you can't have authority over your character's movements while they're taking that step, then it would get weird. They're showing all the different weapons, lunge ability. Oh, here we go. Pilgrim's Fire 1. Spell targeting and cancel, it says. No one wants a spear up the butt, Ryan says. Hive Tender. Oh, look, and it's gray. 20. Cross swords means that yeah, you must have been right. It means that they're hostile. Here's the new targeting. It's got a big diamond above the guy's head with a circle. He's going to shoot the fireball. That's pretty big range right there. It's good stuff. There it goes. He sent it. They've engaged. It hit the one guy, but they both aggroed, even though it only hit the one target. And then here they come over. Now he's casting Divine Remedy 4. What does he have Divine Remedy 4 on? He's wearing like all plate and chainmail. Oh, it says interrupted at the bottom of the screen. Look at that. Interrupted, and he's moving away. Ryan says, but also note that fire proc on hit, maybe? Let's go back and see. Yeah, wait, what was that? It was for a split second. I saw like a book. Did you see that? Right before it switches over to the fire icon. Is that normal? I don't really use fire, like at all. Oh, I can't get it. I'm trying to pause it right on it. There it is. What is that? What is that book icon? Is that what you're talking about? The fire proc? Oh, it automatically lit him on fire, didn't it? So it shows a spell book. You see the damage was already done to him. Hey, Deadbird, how's it going? He says, just woke up. Was there an update? There's not an update yet. We're basically talking about the news. That's what PaxCast is exclusively for. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you never miss an upload of PaxCast. But we're talking about the information drop that they just gave us, and we're breaking down some of the videos they showed us, and we're going through the article. So Pilgrim's Fire usually procs the burn after 2 hits. That was a proc after 1. Interesting. So there's that little book thing that shows up. You can see the damage actually shows, and it doesn't even show the numbers yet. Now it shows the damage numbers, 24, and now he shows a fire icon below him. Is he immediately burning? This could mean several things. Either it was buffed to where it automatically just lights them on fire now, or it's showing the different resistances for enemies' fire tolerance, and maybe theirs is lower, so it automatically lit him on fire from it. I'm not too sure. It was a proc after 1, Ryan says. Hey, Miranda says, fire is my main weapon. It's really slow to cast. So then they come running over here, and he starts to cast Divine Remedy 4. What even has Divine Remedy 4 that he's wearing? It looks like he's got some new types of pauldrons on, because those are not the ruler's pauldrons. Those are definitely... Oh, and look at the bottom of the screen. It says casting, 28%. Casting, 34%. 38, 40, 41. He goes up 49% casting. And then he interrupted it at just before like 60%. But what are those pauldrons? And those gloves almost look different as well. I think there's some new magic items on this guy. It's so hard to tell. So he interrupts it. He runs away. He gets sucked off by the dude's freaking magic stuff. He's still burning. I want to see the damage proc above his head for the burn. Is he actually burning, or is it just showing stacks or something? Because I don't see damage taking off above his head, although his health bar does look like it's going down. And that's all we have. So I'm going to let this play through in its entirety. If you guys have any other comments or questions about this, let me know. We'll break it down further. I'm going to give it a thumbs up for them. And I'm actually not subscribed to the Pax Day channel, so I'm going to go ahead and do that too. But let's play this. Let's watch this play through in its entirety here. He was actually burning, Ryan says. Yeah, but it wasn't showing fire damage. That's weird. This is in real time, standard speed. They're work in progress on the combat system. So we got one-handed weapon here with a shield, one-handed sword. We got two-handed sword. Again, this is real time. It looks a lot quicker, which is not necessarily a bad thing because right now the combat's pretty damn slow. And then he almost dies, so they cut the video. They should have let us see him die. Come on. Here's a one-handed spear with a shield. Two-handed spear. It looks pretty smooth, guys. It looks fluid. I'm a little worried about the targeting, the auto-targeting thing and whatnot that we talked about before, but this looks smooth. I like it. It can look a little janky when you interrupt your animations, but I like it. Here's those lunges now. So they're not moving when they do these attacks. I'm assuming they're just left clicking. And it's making them move that much. And now here's that fire spell. He targets that guy, he targets that guy, he decides to go through with the cast. I'm going to back up just a second. You can see the fireball casting as well at the bottom middle of the screen. It tells you casting, and it shows you the percentage so you know exactly when it's going to go off, so you know if you need to interrupt it or not. I know they're a little off screen, but they just chase him over there. That's the video that they had for us. Let's swap back over here to this. Let's catch up on some chat. Ryan says he has the flame symbol, which is the indicator that he is burning. Currently, you only see that on mobs when they're actively burning. Okay. Not after the first fireball when they are susceptible to the burn. So it doesn't show, normally it doesn't show like the stacks. You actually would see this only when they're burning. Of course, this could also mean the player burns after a fireball from the Exorcist, which would hurt. But I think that would come into account with your resistances. So they may just be showing that maybe the Zebians are very weak against fire resistance. Maybe it's not going to automatically just proc on normal things, but maybe they are very weak against fire resistance. Because if you stack fire resistance, you're not going to just instantly burn from a fireball. I think that's what they were showing. All right, on to the next category here, spell casting. I know this episode of PaxCast is running a little bit long, but it's a pretty substantial update here. So, I mean, we're going over everything in depth. Spellcasting. For spellcasters, let me move my microphone up just a little bit here. Spell targeting will be reworked. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To be much more accurate, and the target will remain displayed during the entire casting process. So that's what we saw when he started casting the fireball. Even though something else came in front of the target, it stayed showing who the target was going to be. I guess you know why that is? Because you can interrupt it. So if you have the wrong person targeted with a heal, with a fireball, with whatever it may be, if you have the wrong person targeted, you can interrupt it and cast it on the right person. Very good combination there. I'm digging that. Maven says we don't mind longer. As long as we have good stuff to talk about, right? So you can see who you're targeting throughout the entire casting process. This change ensures that you will always know whether your spell is aimed at the right player or enemy in case our interrupted target or our improved targeting fails you. Interesting. Okay. Our improved targeting. So they're saying that spell targeting is going to be reworked to be much more accurate, and it's going to show you who you're targeting throughout the entire process. This ensures that you'll always know whether your spell is aimed at the right player or enemy in case our improved targeting fails you. Oh, okay, yeah, so it's exactly what I said. So if you have someone targeted with a spell and you decide, no, I didn't mean to cast it on that person, I was trying to cast it on that person, you can just cancel it and then try to retarget the other person. Similarly, as with melee, spellcasting will be given a responsiveness pass to ensure the players always remain in control. Yes, I love that. I'm on board with that 100%. You will be allowed to cancel spellcasting at any time. In caps, right there. Cancel your spellcasting at any time. That's big in my book. I like that. That goes for heals. That goes for anything that's a spell really. And presumably this is going to carry over to when we get actual magic. That's why it's good that we're getting all of this ironed out right now. It's going to come down to the magic. Oh, I see something down below that we're going to get to here in a minute. I'm not going to comment on it yet, but I already noticed something. I noticed several things down below. This is making me excited for this update, guys. I know some of these things may seem small and trivial. I'm actually getting really excited for this now, though. Just after looking at this next image down below, I don't want to jump ahead because I like to unpack things as we go through them, but so they say, similarly as with melee, spellcasting responsiveness pass to ensure that you will remain in control. You will be allowed to cancel spellcasting anytime during the spellcasting phase by moving, jumping, melee attacking, blocking, or equipping something else. So there you go, Amaranda. You can cancel your spellcasting and the batching will not actually interrupt you. It will not delay you because if you want to equip something else, you can cancel your spellcasting simply by engaging that. So maybe that answers your question there. As long as you do it during the spellcasting phase. Allowing you to precast spells or adapt to changing situations mid-battle. I like that. That's going to make all of these changes so far. I'm starting to see the vision here. It's culminating with a lot of these systems tying together, a lot of these smaller things that seemed insignificant on their own. They're coming together to rework the combat system in potentially a very big way. I'm so excited to mess around with this now. They say spells will also have casting bars to make it easier to read what spells your opponents use in PvE and PvP. Okay. Interesting. Interesting choice. I'm trying to see how that will balance between immersion and it being a game. In World of Warcraft, you can see what spells people are casting and when the spell casting is going to go off, which will allow you to time your interrupts and things like that accordingly. It looks like we're starting to get that carried over to here a little bit. My immersion says I would rather it not do it for enemies, so that way you don't know what level fireball someone's casting. You just see fire in their hands and you know, oh shit, there's a fireball coming. That's my immersion, right? From a gameplay standpoint, it's telling me, yeah, I'd love to see that data because I want to know exactly what's going on and I know who I need to run over and try to interrupt or chase away or something. If I can find out who their healer is, you could see all the heals coming off above their head and their cast bar. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they do it right. A lot of things with this game, and I've said this time and time again on the channel, it's a fine line. Too much or too little of a thing, too far or not far enough is going to make or break a lot of these systems and make them feel right or not. So they're going to have casting bars to make it easier to read what your opponents are doing in PvE and PvP, so you can make better decisions on which spells you want to interrupt. They did talk before, I'm starting to see the big picture now, they did talk before about crowd control. I think we're going to be getting more ways to interrupt and crowd control, maybe even spells for interrupting and crowd controlling, who knows. But it's starting to come together now. They want you to be able to interrupt your attacks and your spell casting and stuff in order, and now with these, casting bars, be able to determine, oh, this guy's doing a heal. I'm in the middle of doing X, Y, and Z. I'm going to use this ranged interrupt on them to stop that spell casting because I don't want that to go through. It's starting to come together now. I'm really starting to see the big picture. They say, plus, we will add early game spells unlockable from loot in small PvE camps, offering more options to small groups and solo players. I want to keep in mind, guys, they're talking about all of this stuff now. And before, they really wouldn't give us a time frame. They wouldn't even tell us which of the system. They told us what they're working on, but we didn't know which of those was going to be coming in the updates. And which update? Is it coming at the end of the year? Is it coming in the very next update in the autumn? But let me scroll up here and show you something again. With that in mind, let's dive into some upcoming changes in the next content update. Everything we're reading here, I'm assuming, is in the next content update because it's immediately following it. So I am okay with putting my stamp of approval on it that this is indeed coming in the next update. We're getting these reworked interruptions. We're getting these, or not the interruptions, but we're getting the reworked interrupting of your own spell casting, the new casting bars, the enemy difficulty and hostility markers, the new, all of this stuff is coming in the next update, because that's what they just set up above. I don't like to tell you guys, we will do theorycraft on the channel, but I don't like to tell you guys, oh, this is coming for sure. I know this insider information, because I don't have any inside information. I'm just reading the updates with you guys as well. But they said right up above, they're diving into things that are coming in the very next update, which is most likely going to be sometime in the autumn, because that's what they said. So all of this stuff, early game spells, small PvE camps, offering more options for small groups of players and solo players. I'd love to see that, because there are so many people who they don't necessarily want to join a big community or a clan. They want to stay independent, but then they want to come trade and be cordial with you in town. And we know we're getting the trading system and the markets and the currency. I think there's going to be some pretty good stuff in this update from what we've read so far. These combat changes, I'm very excited to mess around with them now. And I know that there's a lot of people in our clan who are ecstatic about being able to mess around with this new combat system. Ryan says, a lot of people seem to have glossed over the addition of new spells as well, but new early spells is a real bridge for players before we get to things like Fireball, Mesmerize, Heals, etc. Yeah, and I wonder if they just mean like weaker spells or if they mean new spells altogether. Because they said add early game spells. So I think that's whole new spells altogether, maybe like little tiny mini fireballs or something, like they're half as strong as the ones we have now. Maybe they mean all new attacks in their entirety. Chef says you cannot stand up in a ship in space. What are you talking about? You can't stand up in a ship in space. You talk about Star Citizen, because you absolutely can, 100%. He goes, not happy. Maven goes, LOL. Also, hey everyone, how's it going, Chef? Lickham says fire arrows, ? I didn't read anything about fire arrows. I don't know if you skipped ahead on the chat here, if they say something about that in this post. I'm not sure. But I don't think a fire arrow is a spell. I think that's that's an item. That's like a type of arrow. I don't think they would classify that as a spell. But I guess we'll find out. I'm not too sure what they mean by that. I've said really early on that I like a level of mystery in the game. And I really lean into that. I love all the spooky stuff that comes out with different events for Halloween and things like that around games. That being said, I don't want them to just tell us all the enemies and stuff that they're adding in. I think it's good for them to tell us about their progress on systems and stuff, though, which is that's what they're doing right here. We know that these things are coming in the next update, which is in the autumn. We have somewhat of a time frame now, right? Before it was just hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. They did say right up above, these things are coming in the next update. Chef says, well, you can stand up, but I have been falling on my ass over and over. It may be Raz's flight ability or my cluelessness. I'm unsure. So what happens in Star Citizen, Chef, is a little off topic, and then we'll get back on topic here. But there's momentums and things there's forces that are in effect in the ship. So if he's turning really fast or something, yeah, you're going to fall over. That's what's happening there. It's better to be like sitting down in a dropship chair or something like that while someone's maneuvering, or sitting on the bed, because then you're locked to the physics grid. But when they do a hard turn, you have that centrifugal force, that momentum of you moving with the ship, and the ship's moving around you. You're going to, bump into stuff and fall over. Ryan says, I mean, we currently have drinks that give cold resist, but no cold magic yet, right? Is there one weapon that does cold, or is there not? Yeah, you may be right. There may not be any. And they've talked about elemental magic. So not outrageous to suspect we might get more elemental variety. Oh my gosh, dude, Ryan. We can theorycraft about that. This is not confirmed, guys. We like to theorycraft on the channel here. I would love that, Ryan. That'd be so cool. Maybe we get some frost spells that slows down people's attacks or something. Really let people lean into being a mage, as opposed to just having the cold or having the poisons and stuff, the extra bleeds and whatnot on the weapons themselves. That'd be pretty cool. Chef says, yeah, I have to sit on the bed. Yeah, in order to not fall around and stuff. If they're doing heavy maneuvers, if you have a nice luxury ship where you're taking it nice and easy, gradual turns like a cruise, you're not gonna notice anything. But if you're on a combat ship and you're flying around taking heavy maneuvers, you're gonna fall on your ass for sure. Chef says, I would love to have elemental magic and therefore elemental damage on weapons. Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. For those of you who don't know, you can go over to our wiki. There's a new command in chat. You could type !wiki. And if you go down to the religion category, we have made up our entire own, using some information from our allies and some other people in the community who have had good ideas. We have made up our own RP religion and stuff that is very druidic in nature. So having elemental magic would be freaking awesome. But yeah, they talk about adding early game spells, small PvE camps. So that means there's going to be smaller camps. And they said this is what's coming in the next update. They said it right up above. So now we're starting to get this time frame and what's actually coming in the updates. They should have done this from the beginning, but nevertheless, here we are, offering more options for small and solo players. Enemies. Next category. Many enemies will have their attack animations revisited. That's interesting. So maybe it's going to allow them to be a little more telegraphed. Oh yeah, right here, making it easier to anticipate their moves. These changes will add more telegraphing before attacks are performed, giving you a better chance to react. I wonder if that means, so okay, let me paint a picture here. If I'm in the middle of doing something and I see that an enemy is going to do a type of attack that I want to be able to block or dodge or whatever it is, there's not really a dodge yet per se. Can I interrupt whatever I'm doing in order to bring up my shield? Because this could make it a lot easier to actually absorb the poison bolts that some of the enemy casters cast if you're a tank. Very interesting stuff here. They go on to say several user interface improvements will be made to give players more information during combat. Both enemy and player nameplates are going through changes to be more informative. I'm going to zoom in a little here to try and make it a little easier to see this. I don't think I really can zoom in. Let me do this. I'm going to, hold on one second, because I want to bring this up full screen. This image has a lot of really good stuff in it. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to go to their Discord. Oh, they only show one picture here, but there's two on their Discord. Let me grab them both. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is really cool, guys. You got to see this. Okay. I'm downloading these, and I'm going to bring them up on screen. Give me 1 second. This is really cool stuff. Okay. Save image. Let's save this one as well. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to bring up an image overlay, screen images. Ignore that. That's not what we want right there. I'm going to change this over from this roadmap. Actually, I'm not going to change number 1 image because I want to keep that the roadmap. Let's change this image over to these new ones now. This is cool stuff, guys. Hold on. Wait till I get this pulled up here. I'm going to hide the browser image. Let's unlock this. And let's bring this up nice and big. Okay. What I'm seeing here, party member, guild name, clan member, guild name, party member on the side there, and then it shows you. It shows little fire icons below them. It shows a part of their health that's grayed out. And the character is standing here naked, and it shows a clan banner above the one person's head and a helmet above the party member's head. They're both equipped exactly the same, but it now is going to show you their, why does it say guild name and not clan name? It literally says guild name. Are they changing it from clans over to guilds? Or is a guild something different? Do you have your clan and then you can make alliances and that's a guild or something? I could be going on a limb there. I don't know. But as far as I know, they're called clans in game. Let me zoom in a little more here. Look at that. Guild name, clan member, and then it says guild name, party member, guild name. I could be reading into that too much. That could just be whoever made the test was just showing that there. Chef said, oh, let me catch about some chat here, guys. Let's see. I'm looking forward to enhance enchanting weapons with magic. That would be freaking awesome. Yeah. Ryan says, Chef, some weapons that proc fire burns already. Yeah, there are some that do fire burns and poison and bleeds and stuff like that. Chef says yes, and poisons as well. I was meaning more than what we currently have. I'm looking forward to enchanting weapons with magic. That'd be really, really cool if we could do that. Kind of like in WoW, you can put different enchants on your items and stuff. Casting lightning spells would be nice as well. That would be so cool. I don't know if we'd get something like that, but that would be freaking cool, man. Ryan says, oh yeah, bring me the zap zap stuns. Hey, you could be onto something there. Chef says that will make punishing metal armor wearers in PvP interesting. Oh, yeah, that definitely would make you more electrocutable. Ryan agrees 100%. Chef says, I would love to have a reason not to wear full plate. Exactly. Lickham says helmet. Party leader, maybe? Maybe. Potentially. But that's really interesting. I like those nameplates. One of them is green and one of them is blue. So clan members have a blue health bar now, and party members have a green one. Because that was one of my biggest complaints also. When you're in a dungeon, you see red health bars everywhere. Those are your friends and the enemies. Now, you have blue for clan members, and green for party members, and presumably red for enemies. What is it? Hold on a second. What does this say up here? I don't know if it's gonna be too blurry. What does that say? Character input disabled, character input enabled. I think it's debugging. That's just debugging messages up in the top left there. You can see the build number. I don't know if that helps us in any way, shape, or form. You can see people's stamina, their health, and the icons actually changing for their heads. Did it used to do that before? Did it used to change the icons to match the person's head? That's kind of cool. Ryan says helmet is currently the party icon. All right, so that's the first image we got, right? Right there. Let's pull up the second one now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to switch it over. Nameplates 2. And then let's blow this up. Couple things of note here. She's naked, so the difficulty of this fox, who's arguably one of the easiest things to kill, is 66. And it's got swords because he's hostile. It says hostile NPC, but he's 66 because she's naked. So it's going to scale with your gear score. It's kind of like a gear score in World of Warcraft, and it's telling you the difficulty of the enemies based on your gear score. I like that. That's going to allow people to have better assessment of NPCs and what's going on. Again, we're playing a game. People can say, oh, my immersion and stuff, but I think that that will ultimately be good for the game, honestly. I really do think that it will. Is anything different up here? Nope. Oh, in the back, look. 66 neutral NPC. So there's some NPC back there that's neutral. And it's 66 difficulty. And here you have hostile player with crossed swords, other guild name, and his health bar is red because he's hostile. Neutral player, other guild name. Wait a minute. What does that mean, guys? What's the difference between a neutral player and a hostile player? Is that just the distinction of if you're in the PvP zone or not? And then once you're in the PvP zone, everybody gets marked as hostile, but out in the open world in the Heartland, we know PvP is coming to the Wildlands, right? But does this mean in the Heartland, it's just going to show, like this could be the same person. If they're in PvP, they're hostile. If they're not, they're neutral. Or does this have some other implication? Is this leading into something else? Maybe the knight system or the barony system where you can maybe declare war or something? Amaranda says, so if I'm geared to the teeth, a spy fox will be too. And in turn, will a bear be nerfed to six? No. It's not saying that, Amaranda. What it's saying is based on her gear, which is nothing, the difficulty of this fox is a 66. If she was to put armor on and be more well equipped, like let's say she puts some basic cloth on, this may go down to like 50. And then if she was to put leather on, this would go down to like 40 or 35. If she was to put plate on, this would go down to like 10. If she was to put on the best stuff in the game, it'd be like 5 or something, like hardly even difficult at all. It's telling you the difficulty of the enemy based on your current gear score. So if there was a fox right here as 66 and there was a bear, the bear would be like 800 or something crazy probably, because the bear is much stronger than a fox. As soon as you put steel on, or the best gear in the game, that bear goes from a 800 down to maybe a 50. He's still hard, but it's basing it on your gear score, is my understanding. Anything different down here? Nope, spells look the same. This all looks the same. But yeah, that's really interesting on this whole neutral thing right there. All right, let me bring back up the old browser 1 second here. Amarana says, I had it backwards. My dyslexia. Yeah, no problem. 100%. I got you. Yeah, I was trying to find a way to make it to help it make sense. But yeah, based on your gear, that number will go up or down. If you're less equipped, everything becomes harder to you. Not it doesn't become harder to you, it's indicating the numbers go up, indicating that it is more difficult for you. Those numbers are just an indication. Lickham says, why only 50 health and stamina? Isn't that what you have when you're naked? Or do you normally have 100? When you have no buffs whatsoever rolling and no enhancements, do you normally have 100 or do you have 50? That could be an indication that they're reducing. Maybe they're reducing the numbers. Why are both of those players burning? I think that's just to show you, Ryan, where the burning icon would be if they were to be burning on a neutral player. I think it's just an explanation of like how the new nameplates are going to work. 100 health and 50 stamina normally. Okay, so maybe they nerfed the amount of health you have, or maybe it's just an oversight. I'm not sure. They may have nerfed that in anticipation of changing the way that food interacts with you. The stamina changes and stuff. Maybe they've in-house tested and they've rebalanced it so where you only get 50 health now. Maven says, I thought it was 50 for both. I mean, it sounds right to me that it's 50 for both, but I cannot be sure. Actually, I think it might be 50 for both because we can get up to like 290 something health. I don't know. Maybe it is 100, yeah, because if you have 100, you eat a food that gives you 50 or 60. You eat another one that would take you up to 100. Yeah, you are normally at 100, I would think. So they say that the nameplates are going to be changed to make them more informative. Enemy nameplates will indicate how powerful they are. Yeah, that's what that is. That's 66. The current implementation, as you can see in the video segment, shows their level. And it's in like parentheses there because their level is indicated based on their difficulty to you, which is somewhat ironic in a game where characters don't have levels. Yeah, but it's your gear level. It's not an actual level of the NPC. It's not like this NPC is level 66 and he'll always be 66. That's the difficulty challenge for you. Mark, great to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Hope you're having a great day today. Mark says, doesn't a female character start with 50 and the male start with 100? No, they're the same. There's no way that that's different. Only difference between gendered characters is aesthetic, Mark. Yeah, 100%. Saw says, no, I'm at 150. Okay, so yeah, it is 100. So maybe they nerfed the health for some reason going forward. That very well could be. But with all the combat changes, it looks like you're going to be able to deal more damage more quickly. So maybe they're just rebalancing things. I'm sure that's going to fluctuate. So they say it's ironic in a game where characters don't have levels, but it is a first implementation of what needs to be iterated on. The goal is, of course, to help you assess whether you can handle a fight or if you need to flee. The color of their health bar will also reflect if they are neutral or hostile. So you can see here the gray is neutral, blue is clan member, green is party member, red is hostile. They go on to say here, these new nameplates will also be used by players and will be more readable in PvP, indicating at a glance whether an opponent is friendly or hostile. I wonder how far away you're going to be able to see those still, because that was the biggest problem. Lickham says falling is going to kill people on a corpse retrieval. Well, they did say they're reworking fall damage, though, up above, if you remember, Lickham's. They said that they're reworking the way that fall damage works pretty much entirely. So maybe that's in mind with the health reduction. We'll see. Hey, Miranda says that might be a hint about the PvP opt-out, too. Well, I don't think the PvP is really opt-out. It's more so opt-in through your actions, is what they've said. So people may be neutral to you unless you opt in. I guess it's the same way of saying what you're saying. It's just the way that they worded it was you'll be opting in. You won't be automatically opted in and then you have to choose to opt out. You will, by default, not be opted into PvP and you'll have to choose to partake through your actions. And it's going to have that risk reward. We've talked a lot about that on the channel too. That's a hot topic with people. Ryan says at least the fall damage is going to be consistent now. And Miranda says, of course, I'm backwards. No worries. It's the same, means the same thing, right? It's just what's the default state. It's kind of like what they talked about running or walking before. It's just really what's the default state. So you're gonna be able to tell at a glance if they're hostile or not in PvP. Camera and audio. While we are making significant updates to the camera system, camera collision events have been smoothed out, reducing the jumpiness you might experience. Oh, thank you. Maybe this means when we're building, it won't be jumping all over the place and stuff when you're in tight areas, or maybe when you're in the maze, your camera won't be popping all over the place. You might experience, it starts saying they're reducing that when the experience you were having when some objects would block your view. I like that. I like that a lot. It's going to make it feel more smooth and less jarring, you know? Additionally, if the camera gets too close to your character, your avatar will fade out to prevent you. Okay, here we go, guys. Is this pseudo first person? Is this pseudo first person? I don't know. They say additionally, if the camera gets too close to your character, here's my question. Can I be the reason it gets too close to my character? Can I zoom in far enough to make my character disappear? Or does that just mean if I push my camera into the wall, I will kind of dissipate and fade out? So they say additionally, if the camera gets too close to your character, your avatar will fade out to prevent your view from being blocked. And yes, this feature will also be present in the building mode. There you go. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but this is in the right direction. Everyone has been wanting first person to be able to build for the longest time. Ryan says, Amaranda, honestly, I think the PvP opting idea will predominantly be about where you go and what you do. Yeah, exactly. You're opting in through your actions. You're choosing to go to this zone. You're choosing to carry this material. You're choosing to enroll in knighthood or whatever it may be. Ryan says, I don't think at any point they're going to make the game where you can tick a box. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like World of Warcraft where you just check the box to enable war mode. I think it's going to be through your actions. Amarina says, yay. Yes, the building mode was greatly needed. I hope this means what we think it means. And they say, finally, we're adding a camera smoothing to the melee system to handle sudden character movements during combat and make it more immersive. I look forward to all of that. On the audio front, we will add distinct audio cues for when your stamina is too low to perform an action. Okay, so it's kind of like in World of Warcraft, where your spell's on cooldown and they say, I can't do that. I can't do that. So you're going to have some type of cue which will indicate that you don't have enough stamina to do something. Hopefully they do that for when your attacks are on cooldown as well. So when your stamina is too low to perform an attack, and when you level up a skill, we'll also add more of a grunt sound for chained and combo attacks. Okay, that's cool. I would also like to hear something for if your attack is on cooldown. If you're trying to do a special attack like a shield bash, it'd be nice if there's like a dung, 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 or like some noise to indicate that you cannot do the special attack as well, regardless of if it's from stamina. Like if it's just on cooldown, there should be a noise as well. Hopefully we get that. NPCs will also have more grunt variations reflecting their health status and adding personality to the encounters with the Cultist of Zeb and the Inquisition. We'll also adjust the overall sound mix to improve clarity. Okay, I like that. Hey, more immersion, more noises. They're going to be making different grunts and stuff like that. I'm on board. Sign me up. I think we're getting to, we're at the end here now. So they say, looking ahead, these changes are just the beginning. And I'm happy to hear that, honestly. Mainframe, you did a really good job through this, telling us in the beginning, these things are coming. Let's look at some stuff that's coming in the next update. I would still, we're always going to want to know more clarity, more insight into the stuff that's going on. But I think you really did a great job here by telling us these things are coming in the next update. Let's talk about them. So we know that these camera changes, the combat changes, the food changes, the nameplates. We know we're getting the social rework. We know we're getting the economy system and the marketplaces now. Now we know more things, and this gives us something to look forward to going into the next update coming sometime in the autumn. I'm really looking forward to this now. So great job, Mainframe. Let's keep this going. Keep this level of transparency. Let us know these are the things that are coming in the next update or the things that we're trying to. That can go such a long way with people. And if you have to be a little wishy-washy on timeframes, that's fine, but at least now we know, because we knew, okay, there's an autumn update, big update coming out, right? We never knew really what was in it. We knew the things that you were working on, but we never knew what was actually trying to make its way into that update until now. We only knew a couple things, and now we have a really good look at a lot of stuff. So they say these changes are just the beginning. As you can see, we read your feedback and we've made changes with your thoughts in mind, as well as our experience and vision for the game. The next content update focuses on making combat feel more dynamic and responsive. But there's much, much more to come. I wonder, this has to be the autumn update, right? Because they say the next update is going to focus on making the combat feel more dynamic and responsive. I wonder if they're talking about a patch that's going to come before the autumn update, or is this going to be roped in with it? I'm assuming it's going to be roped in with it. And they say, as we continue to improve PAX Day, we'll work on role identity, balancing all spells, and making gear choices feel more impactful, especially when playing in groups. Expect more updates in the future as we polish these systems even further. We're looking forward to your feedback on the content update, or once a content update has been deployed to the live shards, the mainframe team. Now, this was a really great update. I went into this with my reservations thinking, how the other update chats have been. We got a lot of really great stuff from this, though. Ryan says an update detailing grunt variations. Exactly. There was a lot of really good stuff in this, though. I want to give praise where praise is due, and I want to give criticisms where criticisms are due. Mainframe, this is a step in the right direction. This really is. Let's keep this momentum. Let's keep this chain of information open with not only content creators, but with the community. It really feels good to be able to sit down and have these chats with people, knowing that if we continue this level of clarity going forward, that we're going to have a much more open chain of communication, which is going to better help people understand when they can expect content to come. I think quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, or using seasons like fall and stuff, that's fine. The main issue I had was not knowing what you were even trying to put into that update. We have a roadmap with all kinds of stuff on it that we don't know even remotely when they're trying to come out. Are they coming in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4? We have no idea. There's just a list of all this stuff that you want to add. Traditionally, roadmaps have somewhat of a date associated with them, where it'll say, hey, this is our next update coming in the autumn. These are the things that we're really going to try and get in there. This is where we stand on those things, where we have this much progress done on them. This is where we stand. They may or may not make it in, but this is what we're trying to help make it in. Even that clarity alone right there goes so far. It speaks volumes to transparency. I know you guys are trying to be as transparent as possible, and I really appreciate that. So I want to give praise where praise is due. Thank you for being more transparent here, letting us know more into the nitty-gritty of what's going on. Better late than never, right? I would have loved to have known what was trying to be pushed into this update like a month ago, because then we can talk about it and have our conversation with the channel and let everybody know what's going on. Don't forget, Vincent says fall equals up to December 21st. Yes. Yeah, definitely is gonna, it's a wide range. We don't know exactly when that's going to be. Hopefully we get it sooner rather than later, but at least we know a time frame, right? And now we know a lot more. There's probably more than this that they haven't told us, but at least we know a lot more of what they're trying to get pushed in here. Because again, up above, they said, with that in mind, let's dive into some upcoming changes. So this is only some of the upcoming changes in the next content update. And then we went through all of this stuff we went through, all of it. So everything on here, every single thing in this spotlight has to do with the next update, the next content update. But it's really, really great to see that they are opening up that chain of communication and being a little more transparent with us about what is going to be in this next update. We have things to look forward to now. I've honestly never really been this excited. I want to test the new character movement. I want to test the new melee combat. I want to find out all the intricacies. It looks like we're going to have more authority over our character to push the buttons we want to push when we want to push them. And I'm excited about that. Mainframe, you can really drive a lot of excitement by doing things like this, being transparent, letting us know, hey guys, we're really trying to push for a big combat update in this next autumn update. These are the things we got done so far. This is what we've worked on. We don't know if this, or this will make it, but we're going to do our best. We don't want to get your hopes up too high, but we're really trying to push for this stuff. That level of transparency, chef's kiss right on that right there. So thank you so much for being transparent on that. Do you guys have any other comments or questions about any of the stuff we just went over today? I know it took a while to go over this stuff. We're pushing 2.5 hours on this episode of PaxCast. Normally they don't run this long, but it's our first actual meaty, substantial combat information in a while. And the nameplates, they look great as well. I'm really looking forward to that information. It's going to make the game feel a lot more alive and a lot more intuitive, right? Ryan says, right, but they also said they would have another one before the end. They didn't say that they would. They said that they're going to try to have another update at the turn of the year. So to me, that means January. At the turn of the year for me means January, going into the next year. So like Q1 is what I would assume that would mean in layman's terms, really. But they did not say that they are going to have another one. They would like to have another one around the turn of the year. Ryan says, pretty sure one of the devs says 2 to 4 weeks in Discord as a rough time frame. If you have confirmation on that, I'd be more than happy to distribute that information, but I'm going to take that with a grain of salt until I see it actually come from the developers' mouths. I do my best not to spread misinformation, and I only tell you guys, we can theory craft for sure, but I'll tell you it's theory craft. I don't just spew stuff that's completely unsubstantiated and unconfirmed to try and garner clicks or clickbait or anything like that. I like having dialogue that's real and true, grounded in reality and facts. So if you can show me something that says that a dev said 2 to 4 weeks, otherwise there's a lot of things that a lot of people say. I have heard so many people spewing all kinds of misinformation out there. Ryan says, I'm scrolling. Vincent says, I'm pretty excited for this next update. Yeah, I think a lot of people are, and this makes me even more excited. If they wouldn't have told us all this stuff, let's be honest, guys. The numbers are way down for PAX Day. I mean, let's pull it up here. 796 peak players across all servers in the past 24 hours. Now, there's a debate of whether this is only Steam numbers. There is API, I think, where servers can relay information over Steam API to show server numbers that aren't over just the Steam client. I don't know if these numbers are just Steam clients or if this is actual players in game. Regardless, though, we saw numbers up in the pushing 2,000 just a month ago. I mean, look at back in July, we had 6,000 players. Then it goes down to 4,000, down to 2,000. We were around 2,000 players like a month ago. So to drop down that much, that's a big drop, and it slowly just keeps going down. We're on the weekend now, so it's going to be that uptick right here. This peak, this was during the day peak, so let's go to the week. The weekly peak, it seems to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, let's see. So it's peaking there. Here's the Saturday peak of 1,111. We're coming up on the Friday peak of 700. So you can see it's still on a substantial downtick, and it's understandable, right? I completely understand where everybody's coming from. I understand people's frustrations. Trust me, I followed Star Citizen for a very long time. I followed a lot of beta games, and I always have high hopes for them, but I'm always realistic about the expectations. So I think that this content update is going to hopefully bring a lot of people back, and hopefully we can get this number and this number back up to their formal glory. 796 people across all platforms, or across all servers, that's extremely low. And even if you say a big portion of people are playing on the launcher, look at the drops. If the Steam client is dropping like this, we have every indication that the launcher would be dropping at these same rates as well. And I don't say that to be a downer on anything at all. It's just a fact. We need to recognize that. I think this transparency would have helped curb that a lot. I think a lot of people got discouraged by not really knowing what's going on. Nothing burgers and just hurry up and waits. I think that perpetuated a lot, not That's the wrong word. I think that that basically forced a lot of people to take a step back. And we've been doing that too. Like we still log in. I log in just about every day still, and we do a lot of stuff. We have people running dungeons and things like that. But I'm starting to do a little bit of horror games on the channel because again, we're a community first and foremost. If they would have been forthcoming about this information sooner, I think those numbers would not have needed to have gotten that low, if I'm being honest. But that is going to wrap up this episode of PaxCast. I hope you guys enjoyed this informational look and deep dive into all the stuff that we are getting. Well, some of the stuff that we're getting in this next update sometime in the fall. Sometime this autumn, we're going to be getting a lot of stuff. This gives me hope. I'm really, really excited for the future of PAX Day. I hope you guys are too. We're going to be here for the journey through the long haul. So if you know any friends who are thinking of getting into PAX Day, or you have any family members or coworkers, whoever it may be, send them my way. They are more than welcome to ask any questions they have in any of my live streams. I love engaging with you guys. I love teaching people about the game and building a great community. So if you have anybody who's thinking about getting into it, send them my way. Share these videos and streams with your friends. It really helps the channel out. I really appreciate that. Take part in the giveaway this month. Leave a comment. We'll leave one comment on every video that gets uploaded or every stream that turns into a video after it's done this month, and you'll get an entry. You can get one entry per upload. Just go leave comments and be subscribed. And while you're down there, if you want to leave a thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. We're working towards getting up to our 1,000 subscriber goal. I'm going to reload my overlays here. We're up to 700 and we're above, it's still a little bit above that, but the numbers, they catch up with my overlay. You can see 757 up there. We are flying past 700, guys. Thank you so much for all the subscriptions, Thank you for all of the channel members and all the support you guys have given me. It really is great to see the community thriving and growing and just everybody having so much fun. Our big thing is we like to foster good times with good people, playing good games, just having a good time. It's very chill, just like these streams, we just sit down, have a chat. I love reading your guys' chats and having a good time. It's very relaxing, and that's what our entire community is about. We do our best to keep bad actors and toxic people out to make sure that they're not able to disrupt the good faith actors' gameplay, especially in roleplay. You have good faith actors and you have bad faith actors, and some people are exploiting and cheating in order to, gain information or whatever it may be. And then you have the good guys who are just trying to have a good time. But that's what we foster over here. If you guys want to join our community, because that sounds good to you, type !Discord in chat. You'll get a link over to our Discord server, the Cheeky Buggers United Community Discord, where you can hang out with all of us. We hang out after streams and chats and stuff like that, and we just have a good time enjoying life, because tomorrow is promised to no one. So you might as well have a good time with good people. Surround yourself with good people who are going to elevate your mood and have fun with you playing good games. That's what it's all about. Regardless of what the game is, that's what our community is there for. Vincent says, don't forget to see Uncle Doug for your storage solutions. Mark says, what server do you play on? So Mark, we are on US East Danu RP. Thanks for asking. I forget to say that sometimes. But yeah, we're on US East Danu RP. We're in the province of Caries and we're located in southern Tremen. Everybody is welcome to come and hang out with us, whether you want to join our clan or not. We hang out with all kinds of people. We do trades, we role play. We just have all kinds of fun in game, going on adventures, checking out new areas, testing stuff, because that's what it's really about, is testing the game to help Mainframe develop it better. But we go around and do all kinds of fun stuff. Bloodhaven has been bustling like crazy as everybody from other servers even are making new characters just to come hang out with us because they don't like the ghost towns that they're seeing everywhere else. And it's completely understandable. You guys are always welcome in Bloodhaven. We align with chaotic good. We are the protectors of the free people of Tremen and beyond. We do our best to make sure that everybody is having a good time in the game. And that's what we're all about. So if that sounds good, head over to our Discord, !Discord. If you want to join us in game and you actually want to join the Order of the Blood Brothers, that's our clan, type !Website. You'll get a link over there. Or you can go to www.cheekybugger.net and submit your very own application to join the Order of the Blood Brothers. But yeah, we're on US East Danu RP, Mark. Ryan says, oh, my mistake, Void. The 2 to 4 weeks was in response to a question on how long the go live would be from the announcement. Oh, okay. So when they say the update is primed 2 to 4 weeks out from then, Ryan says RP US East Danu RP for Blood Brothers. Yep, exactly. No problem, Mark. Happy to have you. Thanks for stopping by the stream, too. We are doing a giveaway. I told you guys about that. What else do I need to tell you guys about? Oh, we're doing some spooky stuff throughout this entire next couple months. We're going to be playing little scary games on and off. I love spooky season. It's my favorite thing. Unfortunately, my favorite haunted house is not going to be back this year. They only did it 1 year last year. Terror Roulette was amazing. So immersive. Was a lot of fun. But I really like this time of year. We go to corn mazes and hay rides, all of that stuff. It's really just my favorite time of year. The air starts to turn crisp. All of the bugs die off and go back to hell where they belong. It's a good time. If you guys like this time of year as well, come and hang out with us on Discord. Come into some of the multiplayer horror games that we're going to be playing. I'm going to be doing a bunch of little mini series on some multiplayer and single player horror games. I'm trying to get a Project Winter team together so we can do the blackout mode for Project Winter. It's a social deduction game. If that sounds good to you guys, make sure you join up and come hang out with us. You don't need to submit an application to join our community. Everyone's welcome in our community. You can come and hang out with us, chat with us, anything you want to do. But in order to actually come in-game and get into our clan, to actually get into the clan or into our guilds and stuff, you need that application. But one application gets you into everything. And it's basically a formality. It just makes it to where we keep out the bad actors because trolls don't normally want to talk to you face-to-face. Zeus says, I don't think the player numbers during early access. I don't think player numbers during early access is too much of a concern. More of a problem if it's during full release. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I'm not like too worried about it, but if everybody stops playing because no one else is playing and the numbers just drop off, that's data acquisition, right? They need us to test stuff and report things and find these problems and bugs. As long as it has that ebb and flow where it, falls off and then an update comes out and it peaks back up and then it starts to taper off again. As long as it at least does that, this next update is going to be pivotal, I think, in determining the future of the game. Because let's say they do the update and the numbers stay the same or continue to decline, that's not good. Because now we don't have fresh blood coming in and testing stuff, and especially without a wipe, they're not going to be getting any of that new data from the new player experience. They're changing the way that the solo players and small groups are able to progress by adding in those smaller points of interest and earlier on magic items. So if they don't have that data to know how that's performing, it's going to make producing the game developing the game a little bit more difficult, in my opinion. But I would agree with you. The numbers aren't really that bad in the grand scheme of things. It is what it is. It's early access. It doesn't actually matter too much. But for new people, they might think the game's just dead. And here's the thing, too. Most games use alpha, closed beta, open beta, and then they go into early access. Mainframe has stated they're going straight from alpha into early access, and they're using early access as the beta. So they've kind of skipped a whole step of development there, so it may be a little more rough around the edges than most people are going to be used to. But yeah, I don't really see it as too much of a problem. But if you guys want to play some spooky games, we're going to have some more mini-series coming up. We're going to be getting into Star Citizen here with the channel and with everyone over on the community. We got dozens of people who are actually really excited about it. We're going to be hopping in there, teaching some new people the ropes. We're going to have some role play on there and just some basic missions and showing people what the state of the game is for Star Citizen in patch 3.24, 3.24.1, I think it is. And 4.0 is just around the turn there. So make sure you guys are subscribed. And if you want to, ring the bell so you don't miss any uploads. Maven Moon says noobs. Haha, noobs is me. Exactly. I know what you're talking about. She's new to the game, but you'll catch on real quick, Maven. You really will. Star Citizen you'll learn everything. You'll all become intuitive, and then they'll change it, and then you'll have to relearn it all. That's just how it works. But guys, that's gonna do it. Saw that as boobs. Oh, EOTV says saw noobs as boobs. That's gonna do it for me, guys. I'm going to go get some food. I'm going to relax a little bit. We're going to hop over on Discord, hang out with everybody, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the big event. Tomorrow is going to be a very big event in Bloodhaven, US East, Danu RP. Even if you guys want to just make a new character on there just to come hang out, whatever you want to do, we're having the Festival of Realms. It's a very big event that's going to be seasonal. This is technically the end of summer event. We're going to hopefully have one in the fall and in the winter and in spring and all the different seasons. We're going to have this. It's going to be a seasonal event where we're going to put on all kinds of fun little roles. It's mostly role play, but we're going to have a market there as well. This is going to be the debut of the Moonlit Market, and then it will go on a rotation where it will It'll go up and running at different times of the week, most likely. Maven says, see you tomorrow, everyone. Yeah, that's going to do it for me, everybody. It was great hanging out and chatting with you. I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope we had a good time checking all of this out. Big shout out to all of my channel members. Thank you guys for all the support. But that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. Stay tuned for the spooky song. Since it's spooky season, we're going to play it here at the end. I'm going for it.
Descends with shadows deep. In blood heaven, no souls asleep. The blood moon rises in crimson light, casting its light upon the night. Winds howl through the hollow trees, a whispering chant carried on the breeze. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Lanterns flicker, casting ghastly forms. In the cemetery something stirs and storms. The graves crack open, their secrets revealed. In Bloodhaven no fate is sealed. A chill creeps in through stone and bone, as spirits of the lost make their presence known. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Through cobble streets, footsteps fade, ghostly hands reach from the grave. No mercy here in the blood moon's glow. Bloodhaven's light is all you'll know. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Beneath the blood moon's gaze the shadows sway. In Bloodhaven's light the night will stay.